Meafahun dingir okura. Meafahun dingir okura. Meafahun dingir okura. Meafahun dingir okura.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's Guildspire here, and welcome back to Dead by Daylight. Hey, y'all doing today on this terrific Thursday afternoon? Hope y'all are doing well. I know I am. So, In case you did miss the announcement over on the Discord, we're going to be testing out a buffed perk that may or may not be working as intended. So with that being said, a lot of people have been really high on the changes of Hex Blood Favor, specifically with a certain killer. Let's kind of break down real quick what they changed to Blood Favor in the current PTB. Whether or not this will stay this way, yet to be determined. But basically, hitting a survivor with a basic attack or a special attack will call upon the entity to block pallets from being pulled down within a 32-meter radius of your location for 15 seconds. It no longer has a cooldown, and now applies not just on basics, but also special attacks. A lot of people have been really high on this with the Trickster for obvious reason, as the knife is considered a special attack, and thus on one knife locks down all pallets. With that being said, I want to run an experiment, because I was thinking about it more and more. I'm like, that's really interesting. Same thing happens with Nemesis's M2. So I was thinking to myself, who else could use this? Who else could get obscene pressure? So I thought, okay, let's try out a few different killers. So we have a few killers on the docket today. We have the Huntress, who we'll be testing. We'll have, let's see. Wait. I didn't think about it before as I was setting up. But if I hit a survivor, like, hit them with the bottle, what will that count as a special attack? Like, not if they inhale the tonic, right? But if, like, I physically hit them in the back of the head with the bottle, will that work? Okay. I'm curious. I hadn't thought of it before, but now we're going to try it out. So, adding another killer to the docket, we have Huntress, we have the Clown, we have Legion, Plague, Deathslinger, let's see who else. Trickster and Nemesis. I would test the Cenobite, but unfortunately, I don't have all of the perks on the Cenobite, at least not during the time in which the PTB grabbed my data. So we would test out the Cenobite, see if that works, but we'll have to do that later down the line. For now, however, I'm really interested on Plague. I really am, because if this were to work, just think about it for a second. You vomit on them, has 0 cooldown on that. The only thing they have at that point is windows, and in certain maps, there are no windows around, so you just fully vomit on them, you break them, they have no pallets, you'll whack them in the back of the head. If that works, as I think it might, Plague might be a little bit insane. Potentially even more so than the Trickster, because she moves at a 115 speed and got a speed boost on her cooldown, which we saw yesterday of how insane it was. When am I going to get off the PTB? After we're done testing everything, honestly. That's kind of the long and short of it right now. I want to, like, normally the PTBs, they don't really pique my interest because normally it's like a change or two, some minor things here and there, right? Maybe a new killer, yada yada yada. We spend a day on it. Man, there's a whole lot to test out. Like, I'm not joking. There is a whole lot of stuff to test out and figure out how insane are the changes they've made. And though we tested out Built to Last when we were going through Survivor on day 1, I still need to take some time, maybe with some of my mods on how insane Built to Last is. You have done like 5 exploits, not done yet. I mean, they aren't exploits, they're just interactions with the add-ons, specifically Trapper. Iridescent Stone is basically just, you know, was a very good add-on. Now with the mix of like Oily Coil, Coffee Grinds, Bloody Coil, Oily Coil, just really nasty combos on Trapper. And then who else did we test? We tested out Plague, we tested out Slinger. Yeah, I mean, you know, wall hacks with Oily Coil or reading is pretty significant. We tested out Slinger, see how bad his nerf was. Honestly, wasn't as bad as I was expecting. What did I say? I was saying that once we're done testing everything on the PTB, normally there isn't much, but they really did change a lot. And so I'm trying to think of what else I'd want to test. After Blood Favor, and nothing's coming to mind off the top of my head. But I'll look into it more tonight, kind of dig into the patch notes and see if there's anything else that I want to test or make a video of. For those who haven't already, I did post a video yesterday of everything that we did with Trapper and condensed that down. Please let me know what you think of the edits. I'm trying to edit my content down a little bit as much as possible. Yo, what's up, Shark? Let me know what you think of the edits and stuff like that. Probably doing another video today. It's been a bit of an undertaking. Basically, the last couple days making a video a day. Still have a crappy sleep pattern. That sucks, Shark. Well, I do hope that you're able to get some rest, if at all possible. Queue times right now are a wee bit long. I want to know what's up with that. There wasn't a update for the PTB, right? I don't think there would be. Going to ask if there's a better way to have the VODs up but not overwhelming your videos page. Yeah, so I basically put all the VODs up, right? I actually gave it some thought because the YouTube algorithm is a finicky effing thing. I have given some mild thought to making a second channel dedicated to VODs. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Would that be something you're interested in? And I can probably slowly but surely move all the VOD content over there, or at least move the future content. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately the best course of action, A, due to YouTube algorithm, B, to try and keep the main channel cleaner. So I have given thought to that. It isn't something that I'm settled on just yet. A VOD is a video on demand. So basically, the VOD of the stream that you're watching will go up live on the YouTube channel a week later. That's how I've been doing it right now. You set up Siri bot for Haas/gun accounts. I have not yet. Vader mentioned it to me. I'll definitely look into it more. Right now, thankfully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we haven't gotten too horribly hit. I think like the most we've seen in a day is like 25, something stupid like that. But it's not as bad as some other people who have gotten like 100 Haas or gun bots. But I might need to look into that. Speaking of Twitch and things, I know that they set up the two-factor authentication or phone authentication in order to follow on streams. You got followed by last week 150-ish. The fresh what? All right, well, I'll look into at least enabling the phone authentication for following. I think that's reasonable enough to kind of start off and see if that rebuffs any bots. I can always see you like the same room. It's been pretty good, Shark. It's been pretty good. I cannot complain. So I'll look into at least the phone authentication, but we are on the Father Campbell's Chapel. And let's see if Hex Blood Favor locks down pallets when I vomit on survivors. This is a bit of a test. I genuinely don't know if this will work as I want it to. Hi, get off my frickin' totem, will ya? Answer is no. Answer is no, on the Vile Purge at least. So Hex Blood Favor does not work with her Vile Purge. I have another question though. So that is not considered a attack. What if we we use our Corrupt Purge. So I'd imagine that though Hex Blood Favor doesn't activate on that. Where are you all? I know you're over by Carnival earlier. Ruin's gone, that's fine. Okay, now Hex Blood Favor's gone. So I'm going to assume that, as this test showed, that the Vile Purge does not work with Blood Favor, but the Corrupt Purge would. That then brings into question things like Clown. The strange part is, right, that when Trickster hits a survivor with a knife, it applies a status effect, right? And that status effect is what then activates Blood Favor. Ah, there you are. You have Shadow Step and Circle of Healing. Right. Well, that's miserable. Alright, it's contagious now. Alright, we got her infected. I need to get this down ASAP. I mean, this is really more of a test than anything. Man, Shadow Step is actually a really obnoxious perk in certain situations. Alright. Well, she's broken now. Unfortunately, trying to track her might be easier said than done. Hello there. Additional scratch marks over at Carnival. She's gonna run the window loop. No, that's blocked off. She'll drop down. And she doesn't go for the vault here. And no pallet here, so that will be a down. Before we pick her up, let's do this real quick. Alright, we at least got 2 other survivors also infected off of that, so not bad, not bad. If we do lose this match, I'm not all too worried, just due to the fact that this is more of a test than anything. Well, that was a bad idea. Hello! Don't mind me, just gonna drink from my pool as you try and run away. How well that works for you, yet to be determined. That's Megan down. And now 3 people are infected. There's a dead hard, but won't matter. Alright, let's pick you up. Put you on a hook. And looks like that was a vault or a skill check miss on the pickup, potentially. Rough. Just a little bit too high up, it would seem. Well, might as well do this real quick while you're still on hook. Sucks to suck, to say the least, my friend. Is anyone over here? No. I heard someone else. Yeah, 100% hear someone. I think they went out the other way, though. Well. Oh, there's someone. I don't know which Michaela this is. It just is a Michaela. Looks like it's the one that is infected, but not fully broken. At least not yet. Right, down you go. Let's get you up on hook. And then let's start going around again and grabbing our purge. They're starting to cleanse a lot more, which is good for us. It does not work, no. Not the Vile Purge. With the Corrupt Purge, it definitely will. But I was hoping that it'd work on the Vile Purge. What do the Boon Totems do? There's 2 Boon Totems. There's the Circle of Healing and the Shadow Step. Shadow Step will conceal your aura as well as your scratch marks, while Circle of Healing allows survivors to basically use self-care, but on everyone. That's kind of insane, to say the least. But if used effectively, pretty freaking strong. Let's put you back on hook. And let's just keep on grabbing our power as we go by. I was really hoping I'd get there in time, but no dice. There's the unhook, no full infection, so no additional infection. Shadow Step, hiding scratch marks. Yep, saw that one coming. Alright, let's put you up on this hook and then grab the Corrupt Purge off the hill. Yeah, it's not really broken when you break down to it, but it's a really big value piece, right? That's the biggest part of it, is the amount of value that the survivors can get from Circle of Healing is insane. The biggest thing is that the killer, or the survivors, don't really get punished for using the Boon Totems, where they really should have to lose potential value. Did that not count as a full chase? That's insane. Also, did she bamboozle me? She did. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, let's drop chase here and go for some gems. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is that it should break the totem. It shouldn't be a situation to where it doesn't. That's my biggest qualm with it. Oh yeah, they can just bless another, or they can re-bless the same totem is the thing. So if you stamp out the totem, they can just re-bless it. Yeah, it should just be Hex Totems, but reverse. That is correct. Alright, let's found on this. Oh, that did not hit at all. That was a little bit too far out. I don't think it even hit there. Oh my god, I'm watching that. There we go. Scratch marks over here. Alright, where'd you go? I guess I could just keep this 3-gen, 4-gen. I think I'd be fine with that. Because they pretty much got rid of all the gens on that side. So I can kind of just grind out value over here, can't I? Because now the infection time on these gens is now, what, 40 seconds? So I can go around just infecting these back to back to back. Not really have to worry too much. Your sub ran out? Oof. Did I miss? I must have. There we go. Hi, Megan. How are you? Doing well, I see. You're looking a little bit sickly. You know, you might not be a bad idea to lay down and rest there, Megan, my girl. And this, my friends, is why you don't get yourself into a corner against the plague. Kind of a bad idea. Just a wee bit. Yeah, the COVID jab today. Well, I do hope that it did go well there, Slashy. Alright. And Shelby, thank you for the tier 1 gift sub to Slashy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll just make that contagious. The Michaela that's going for the unhook will also become contagious. Now we can go for them. I see the Meg. There's Michaela. Maybe we can keep on going around this all day. I don't know if you read the patch notes, but I have a movement speed increase, and it honestly feels like I'm going faster than the Survivor right now. Like, I'm not losing any distance. I really have to admit, the update to Plague's cooldown is utterly ridiculous. Like, not even talking about Hex Blood Favor, it is just so ridiculously powerful. I love it. Such a good buff. Alright, well, they cleansed over there. That's fine by me. I can bop this real quick. Or rather, pop it. Alright, which one of you wants to live? Which one of you wants to die? Ooh, they cleansed over here. I thought it was just the other one. That's fantastic for me. Don't mind if I do, survivors. May take a quick drink of the Corrupt Purge and see where you guys might be. The smart thing for them would be to just wait this out. The question is whether or not these survivors will be smart about it. Could this be the Megan again? The one that likes to go into corners. Yeah, I feel that, Slashy. I was in a similar boat, so I definitely understand. Yeah, I think they're hiding out my power. So, best for us to check some corners. Pay attention to where crows are and are not. Legion is considered a special attack. The thing is, I need to kind of figure out what constitutes a special attack, because Nemesis's M2, even if you don't injure, still constitutes a special attack. While I'm not sure if, you know, obviously Plague constitutes not a special attack, because Blood Favor did not activate, even though it does apply a status effect. So is the question whether or not it can deal damage. Does the game just look, can this deal damage or not, right? Is that its parameter? Is that its parameters? Huntress's is a special attack, yes. It is a projectile. So that's the biggest thing that we're really testing today, is what's considered a special attack and what is not. Well, now where... Oh, hello. I did not disturb that crow, which means Michaela is nearby. She at least went this way. Crows come back over there as well. Okay, so we can probably cut her off as long as Hatch is not there. There we go. Perfect. Oh, Michaela. What's the game plan, my dear? Oh, did she fall? She did fall. I did miss all the Moris. I wanted to get popped for a lot of the game because they were applying some decent gen pressure, right? And we'll get a Mori. Oh, no, we will not get a Mori here because she's not a death hook. I always, like I said, I wish they would update Moris just a little bit to where they would make it so that if there's the last survivor remaining, you can Mori them no matter what. It would just make sense. If they're down on the ground, you might as well be able to Mori them. This would make too much sense. But, all things considered, being a one-perk Plague, we did pretty well. Last person can be Moried no matter the hook stage would be a good change. I think it would be, too. I think that would be just an overall good change. But, GG, well played to these survivors. Yeah, exactly. They have no way to 4% anyways. Alright, if we could give another shout out to Ryder, it'd be much appreciated. Alright, well, unfortunate about the Plague. We'll now try out... Who do I want to try out next is the real question. That's what I'm going to have to figure out. So, Plague was kind of my first experiment of many. I guess let's try Clown. Given that Plague didn't count, I don't think Clown will count. But I'm not sure for certain. So, best thing we can do is just simply test. And, you know, if in the instance, I was about to say if you had Pinky Finger, I was going to use Pinky Finger, but we don't have Pinky Finger, so that's a moot point. I guess in that case, let's use the cheap gin and the ether or cigar box. Let's do the ether. Yeah, we'll do that. We are currently testing the extents of blood favor. So, as you're probably already aware, Trickster on one knife activates blood favor. Nemesis, when you infect them, activates blood favor. But because Nemesis and Trickster specifically, I'm testing out some other things on what is and what is not considered a special attack. I think, actually, you know what probably the best measure for it would be what takes away stacks of play with your food. That probably constitute the best measure. So, if in instance your action would normally take away a stack of play, then it would constitute a special attack. Huntress Hatchet, Nemesis's M2, Legion's Frenzy, which would then suggest, I don't think Corrupt Purge does. I don't think Vile Purge does either. Huh, okay, interesting. That is interesting, now that I think about it. Because it also doesn't constitute an M2 or an M1 when you are using Save the Best for Last. Let's also go say hi real quick to Ryder, who's currently playing some Trapper Boy. Drop them follow, and a GG well played. Always here to support other DBD streamers. I hope that you have a great night /
Hey, was it Giltspire? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
And we'll leave a lurk as well. Oh, they have a little bird on their shoulder. Aw, that bird's adorable.
I'll just real quick.
I don't know what bird that is. So, I think it might be...
Real quick.
It's not a parakeet, I don't think. I think it's too big to be a parakeet, but the bird is very cute. If you guys haven't checked out Ryder yet and said hi and seen their bird, you definitely should make sure to do so. Alright, so what is this test going to be now? This test is just simply, will Blood Favor activate on... whatchamacallit? On hitting a survivor with a bottle, yes or no? That is the question that we are asking here. Let's see if it does. Based on our analysis pre-game, I'm doubtful, but behavior has done stranger things. Seeing Blight Blood Favor, Alchemist Ring Survivor had no shot. I can imagine. That does sound miserable. But, you know, I'm not too worried about the obvious ones. It's a Quaker Parrot. Ah, fair enough. I used to have one of those. They're so sweet. Aww. Hey, what's up, Travesty? So, yeah, we're mainly testing out killers that you wouldn't think it would work on, or if it does work on, very knowingly, how good it is, versus, like, Blight, which we know if you can block a pallet with Blight, that's kind of stupid. It's kind of ridiculous, right? Does Blight need that? Probably not. Does it really work well on him? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is it still a Hex Totem that is very fragile? Definitely. Yo, what's up, Trix? How you doing, my friend? Itchy nose. Alright, though. So, our test here is whether or not when I hit a survivor, physically hit them with the bottle, will it activate Blood Favor? That's what we're curious about. So we're just gonna hold on to our 6 bottles and try and find a survivor where we can then hit them with a bottle, you know, on their noggin and see if it blocks a pallet. If it does, that would be actually pretty significant. I don't think it will, based on our analysis from last game with Plague. But it's not outside the realm of possibility, so worth a shot, right? Survivors. Where are you? Isn't that locker only disturbed when someone's in it? I'm pretty sure. Scratch marks in piano room. Oh, that's object of obsession. Or is that undying? Yes, undying. Excuse me? Flag? Does that activate? No. Okay. We answered that question. Blood Favor does not activate when you smack a survivor in the face with a bottle. That is the long and short of it. Unfortunate. But honestly, a little bit to be expected. Man, she is so laggy, though. Come back here. You and your laggy survivor self. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's break this pallet. Thank you, Shelby. Enjoy New World. I hope you have a fun time. Hi there. Ooh, good fake. I like it. Not sure it's meant to be a fake, but it worked. Alright, they cleansed our Undying. More accurately, though, they actually blessed it. I'm pretty sure Michaela did not really leave, based on the scratch marks. Well, this is a Michaela, not sure it's the Michaela, however. Alright, let's hit you. And we're out of bottles, so we'll reload at a pallet if she goes to one. Otherwise, we just chase her out. I think there's a pallet coming up, isn't there, on the right? The insta-drop. We'll break it, and then I think we disengage here. No, they have a pretty good amount of distance, too. There's a moot point there. Alright, Michaela, come back here. Surprised she didn't go into that classroom. That actually would have been a really good loop for her, because that door's not broken yet. Alright, she goes to pallet, we reload. Yep, you pre-drop, that's fine. Ooh, Shadow Step almost tripped me up there for a moment. I could not identify where exactly the scratch marks were going. And on small maps like this, Shadow Step and Circle of Healing are going to be kind of ridiculous. Rune's still up, so let's still make sure we're spreading some gen pressure. It said that I got invigorated, but I definitely did not get the haste. That's peculiar. That is very peculiar. Oof, did not land there either. Or there. We'll get the hit here. And she does get intoxicated that time round, at least. Alright, what's the game plan here, my dear? Good drop. She goes back through the intoxication. And let's get the down. Alright. Let's break. Let's reload. And let's pick up. Alright, Kate, my dear, where are you heading up to? Well, that's first gen done. Not bad for us. And a DC. Alright. I mean, I guess if you want to, I'm not going to complain too much. Don't know why you did, but c'est la vie. I'm not here to question. I'm just here to kill. One up there. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yo, what's up, Blaze? Because Clown is broken and unfair. Yeah, I don't really think that is the case. He is a basic M1 killer. Do I will say survivors definitely feel that way. I would wholeheartedly disagree. Did I get tripped up because of Shadow Step? I did. But how you doing, Donuts? Hopefully doing well. Alright, what's the game plan now? Do you have Dead Heart? No Dead Heart, you got it. It has! How have you been? What have you been up to, if anything much? It's going pretty well, cannot complain. Currently testing out the PTBs, specifically Blood Favor and what does not work with it. Calculus is stupid. You know, if you're in a if you have intentions to go into a field that requires calculus, then, you know, not so much, but those are very few and far between. So, you know, for the most part, yes, you are correct. Calculus is a wee bit silly of a thing to learn, unless you're in a field that requires it. I do believe that our general way of teaching everything is kind of a mistake for the most part. Okay, blood's over there. No, blood's here. Yeah, I had to, like, look around for a second because Shadow Step was activated in that area, so I couldn't find her scratch marks. So I had to try and track down her blood. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, I didn't expect Shadow Step to be as strong as it is, but man, in certain situations, it can be pretty freaking good. Alright, let's hook you real quick. And try and identify where else these survivors are. Alright, let's toss a bottle here. Let's start reloading. That way by the time we're done, we'll be invigorated. And start tossing bottles once again from our invigoration. Yeah, we can definitely do that sometimes. Had to figure out if and when we're going to do a Kill Your Friends. Survivor Friends right now is a sub-goal. We don't have Kill Your Friends as a sub-goal, though, for next month. Which I'm going to schedule all of the sub-goals that we did hit, which includes our Jackbox stream, our Among Us stream, our Survivor Friends week, not just a day. So definitely get excited for that. Became a good looper. Very nice. Hit. And where are you going now? Going downstairs. Fine by me. It looks like they may have moved the boon totem. Perfect. Alright, so obviously Clown's test was a wee bit of a failure. Who are we gonna test next? Let's test Slinger Boy. I actually don't know if you were to use play with your food. If in an instance, Slinger's M2 would take away a stack. I don't think it would, but I have never used play with your food on Slinger, so I can't actually say. That is rather peculiar. Well, no Moris for the Clown, unfortunately. The only person I could have Mori'd actually ended up on a hook, so c'est la vie there. But with that being said, GG, well played to the survivors. Alright, alright. And let's do Slinger next. Once again, probably one of our experimental killers. We're not entirely certain whether or not it will work with Blood Favor. So that's what I'm most curious about. So let's go Slinger Boy. And let's actually switch up our perks real quick. Let's use Ruin, Undyne. That way we can just try and protect Blood Favor a little bit more. But yeah, what sub goal did we hit this month? I'm actually curious. I haven't looked at it in full. We're looking at September. We hit 88 subs. So for 88 subs, that means that we hit Swift Week. And I'm going to replace the Discord movie night with Among Us instead, and basically make 50, 60, 70 different stream games. And then 90, 100 will be the cooking stream and the Discord movie night. I think that's going to be how it works in the future. Let's ready up. We have everything that we need. So the question then stands whether or not Deathslinger's Spear Gun counts as a special attack. Because what is interesting is that what does work with Deathslinger's Spear Gun is Force Penance. So I think the answer would be yes. Just went against an Infinite Tier 3 Michael. I don't know what to do in that situation. Honestly, don't let him get Infinite Tier 3. That kind of is the long and short of it, is don't let him Tier 3 for as long as possible. If you can accomplish that, then that is kind of where you want to be. If, in instance, you let him get Tier 3 and he has a Type 3 gen, the game's basically over. For all intent and purposes at that point, to be honest with you. I really do hope that the IP holders of Michael Myers did allow for behavior to tweak him a bit. Would go a long, long way. So, still got a pip. Hey, you know, if that's what your win condition is, you want to get a pip, you got a pip. That's what matters, right? That's one of the things that we talked about before, where I said, you know, everyone's win condition in Dead by Daylight's slightly different. For killers, it might be getting a 4K. For them, it might be having fun, whatever. But we are on Mother's Dwelling, testing out if Blood Favor activates on the Deathslinger's Spear Gun. So let's take a look. The biggest thing is, I want to see if it activates just on the Spear Gun itself. Not necessarily a hit, because if we hit the Survivor, then that will activate Blood Favor no matter what. Because that will be considered a basic attack. But does shooting them with the Spear Gun activate it too? I wouldn't know it because I can't hit my shots. To be fair, I tried to force that one, so can't complain too much, I do suppose. She did not fall for that mind game at all. And they got rid of Undyne already? Jesus. I guess it wasn't in a less than ideal location, wasn't it? That's definitely outside of 18 meters. There's no way it's not. It doesn't have the opening like I expected it to. That's unfortunate. Where are we going? Alright, one to hit the Michaela there. I un-ADS'd a little bit. And it's my first game with a projectile-based killer, so we're kind of off point. Not to mention Slinger's still going to take some getting used to. Oh, I'm within Shadow Step range. I lost her freaking scratch marks. The scratch marks are really significant of Shadow Step. I didn't think they were, but once you lose line of sight like that, it can be a little bit tricky. Just a wee bit. Crow's over here. And just can't snapshot anymore, Slinger. That's miserable. So, is there a pallet nearby? I can't tell. No, it didn't activate Blood Favor, did it? Either there's no pallets nearby, and so it didn't activate. Okay, so it doesn't activate on the shot. What about on a break? Unless... Oh, was Blood Favor cleansed? Oh, Mother Trucker. It was already cleansed. We have no idea. Shoot. Well, that's unfortunate. So I guess we just play out the match. It's bad enough that's on freaking Mother's Dwelling, but now we don't even get the test whether or not Blood Favor would work. I really do think that totems just might fall out of meta. Like, more and more perks have been introduced as anti-totem, right? And though things like, you know, boon totems aren't strictly anti-totem, they are in the sense that it incentivizes you knowing your totem locations so that you can activate the boon totem in the first place. So the answer is yes, but no, as we hear them continuously shift their totems around. Yeah, I wonder if the right move for behavior is to make it a one-and-done system, where you can only place your totem in one spot and not be able to transfer it. Because I think that would make survivors have to think a little bit more of when they use it. I mean, sometimes that happens, especially snowball pressure from certain killers, abso-freaking-lutely. Alright. I'll put you up on a hook. We have no form of gen regression now, with Ruin gone. Maybe I should take off Ruin, just because that will incentivize them hunting it even more so. Alright, now we're starting to pick back up the pace with the shots. A little bit too far to the left, we hit the hitbox of the bush. To be fair, that the bush hitboxes are kind of miserable in this game. They're a bit more boxy than they look, so you can't really skirt the edge. Kind of wish, like, the outskirts of those bushes were soft, to where you could theoretically shoot through them, or hit through them, and not just have to think of the bush as a box itself. It is a little bit of a miserable thing. But I think that might also be a wee bit too complex. Because those content creators that you might be watching, where you can reduce your resolution, might be partnered. Partnered streamers are have that ability, where any viewer can either up or lower the resolution as their internet requires, or set it to auto. Whereas affiliates don't get that benefit, unfortunately. Why that is, I can't say, but that is the case. I wonder if Steve's back over here. He was before. Nope, he's over here. The thing is, for all I know, he could have broken line of sight and immediately ran. With Shadow Step. Also, it's Michaela, not Steve. Yeah, so if you can't now, it's basically Twitch saying, hey, you can't. It's not something that I determine, it's something that Twitch determines. And it's based on traffic. Yeah, it's based on Twitch's traffic during that day. So it's nothing that you can really predict, unfortunately. Alright. So sometimes you'll have that available here, sometimes you won't. Shadow Step just activated. He's on the ground. And just really good dodge, too. I need to aim out from the side. Yep, there we go. Really? There we go. I was about to say, you really can't get around the frickin' meat. Alright. Well, this was a less than ideal test, so we'll have to test this build again on Slinger. And we now need to play out their altruism, which I can't really go over to that exit gate. If we do, we lose her no matter what. Deliverance? Sure, you got it. I mean, you did that way too early, in my opinion. Should have waited for, I don't know, for me to get distracted at the very least. Because now we can kind of just play around here. Yep, I do have a overlay add-on from Twitch that you will be able to see that. Alright, we're not going to touch her. There's no reason to here, right? If she has Unbreakable, she gets back up. If she has DS, she gets a stun on me and potentially gets a body block in. So we wait out the broken stats effect and go from there. And meanwhile, we can shoot survivors and get some injuries going. Sorry, my friend. This downside of Deliverance. I know exactly when your DS timer's up. Nope, I think not, my friends. Your best bet, honestly, would have been to work on that exit gate right behind us. Scratch marks in here. Let's reload. It's multiple survivors injured. But if I chase him out, then she gets unhooked and we don't have a guaranteed down. This one over here, no. That would've been the smart thing, is try and work on that exit gate so they can get out. Okay, they opened that now. Well, sorry to say, but does look like you're gonna die here. There is the potential they're able to get it, but looks like the answer is a big fat no. Alright, 3 out. That's fine. Unfortunately, we're not able to test out Blood Favor, so I think I need to take off Ruin, maybe throw on Pop instead, just so they're not incentivized to go for the totems. But GG, well played to these survivors. Besides, rough map for Slinger Boy. At least Mother's Dwelling is not great for 110s. Alright, on to the next one. Let's see if we can actually get some Blood Favor Valia. Would be nice. Let's throw on another one of you. Let's take off Undying here. Let's take off Ruin here. Throw on Undying there. And put on... Now we could do... Let's put on a Haunted Ground. Why not? We'll take off all our general aggression. Let's raid on up. Let's see if this does work on the initial shot. And since there's no cooldown, if you get it on the initial shot, I'm just trying to think of how often that will benefit you. As just getting it on the shot and not on the actual hit. I guess there are circumstances where that would prove beneficial, but how beneficial is the question. Trickster is going to be on top of you. Because we're doing the PTV right now, Donuts, we're currently testing things, and in order for me to test things, that means I can't exactly be spinning the wheel or letting you guys choose my perks. This is really, you know, as the PTV would suggest, we are testing all the new things, and right now, today is all about ZL Good Blood Favor and seeing how that interacts with certain killers. As we're already seeing, Vile Purge on Plague does not activate it. Hitting Survivors with Bottles does not activate it on Clown. Our next test is Slinger, but how good would it be on Slinger versus, like, Trickster? Yep, we are on the PTB. Patch number 5.3. We only have about 3 weeks, give or take, until the patch goes live. Or update goes live, rather. So that is exciting. I'll be interested to see what changes they make to the current setup. But I think we'll probably be back on live come Monday. Because I don't I think after, like, today and tomorrow, I think I'll probably have exhausted everything. Except maybe making a, oh, whatchamacallit, a built to last video. I need to do that on Kill Your Friends, though. I need some footage from that. Shelter Woods. Not getting good maps for totems, but once again, we're going to test out Blood Favor on the Slingaboy, see how well this works. And if it activates, hello, you're doing a totem. Yeah. You have, what, 16 seconds? A little bit far. Probably right outside my range. She dropped the pallet. Sure. Did she bamboozle me? She did. I thought I heard footsteps behind me, but she went in front. Interesting. Blood Favor does activate on the spear gun hit. Okay. So that does answer that question. Blood Favor will activate, in fact. But is it beneficial is the question. That's the part that I'm not sure about. Because let's say if we get the spear gun here, we don't get the hit. Blood Favor does activate, so maybe it's not bad. How effective is it? That's the real question. That's the answer I don't really know when I kind of think about it. Because how often are you going to shoot them without hitting them? Ideally, the answer is few and far between. But that ain't always the case, of course. Not seen anyone yet. They did get Undying. Or did they get Blood Favor? Oh, they may have gotten Blood Favor as well. Oh, you know what? So, one thing that does kind of suck about blessings is the fact that if you bless a hex, the killer doesn't really get notified. They hear the blessing effect, but they don't hear the totem pop. So that is a bit of a thing that I do hope that they finish or fix. That the killer should hear. Wow, you normally you'd be able to hit that hit. No, so it should be a thing. Basically, it's cleansing the hex. The hex disappears accordingly. But what should be a thing is that when you bless the hex, the killer should hear the hex being popped versus hearing the boon being blessed. So that's the main thing that I don't like about that, is that the killer should be more heavily notified. Because otherwise you need to check your UI, and sometimes that isn't always reliable. Shadow Step is not a thing here, actually. Surprisingly enough, and my shot's off. Good idea in theory, bad idea in execution. I will mention. So, question then becomes for Deathslinger. Is Blood Favor good on him? That's the answer I don't know. If I'm thinking about it, answer would be no. Could it be useful in some circumstances? Yes. But for the most part, I don't think it would be. Realistically speaking. Also, I have very little incentive to leave this area, don't I? Also, was there grass moving here? Yes, there was. Going where, though? Hello there, Nia, my girl. I'm not gonna chase you. There's no reason to. I'm just gonna box out this area. You guys have to make a move. Alright, walk you to it. Well, that will result in a 1-for-1 trade. And if she doesn't have DS or DT, we also get the potential down on you. Just need to make sure you don't get caught on those trees. Yeah, I think BT should be gone by now. Perfect. And we can even avoid DS because we have Mori. Hello? Fingman? Oh, there you are. Yeah, blended in there, my girl. Nia, don't do that. Here we go for the body block, not the body blocker. They have less distance on us. Yeah, so this must just be Circle of Healing. Yeah, I need to aim just a little bit more ahead. Alright, time to kill you. Yeah, I think that they need to do either one of two things with Boon Totems. They either need to make it that when the killer snuffs out the Boon Totem, that he basically, or the killer removes the totem from the game, i.e. breaking it. Or, big or there, they need to make it that you can only place your Boon Totem one time, basically like Hex Totems, but for survivors, with the benefit of, well, being able to place them. To be fair, there's some really strategic spots where you can place Boon Totems, but I feel like most survivors just put it willy-nilly because there is no real trade-off, right? There is no risk involved with placing a Boon Totem where a killer might be, because he snuffs it out once and then you just reapply it. Yeah, it takes 16 seconds, but still. Yeah, because of the amount of time it takes to ADS, it does now mean that we'll have to be more patient with our shots. What are we doing here? That's down you. Thinking. Is Hex Blood Favor good or beneficial on Slinger? The more I think about it, the more I'm going to say no. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm going to say no, honestly. Here, let's hit you there. Good Dead Hard. Honestly, the Dead Hard isn't what got me. I waited that out. What got me is that she hit this root and kind of changed position. And that tells me where everyone is. That's fantastic. Where's Michaela? Scratch marks over there. There she is. We can box her out from the unhook. A little bit late. Not being able to snapshot like we did prior or used to is actually pretty problematic for us. There's Michaela. Where's Nia? We see scratch marks going for the unhook. Perfect. So let's pressure that since there's a gen there. That probably will get finished. Yep. A little bit late on that shot. Need to predict a bit better. Oh, I can't simply leave Feng Min here, can I? Otherwise, she will get the exit gate. The question then becomes, where's Feng Min? Because I didn't see her leave. At the same time, I have no inclination to her whereabouts. Okay, now I do because I saw the crows. Okay, never mind. She heals. Feng Min had adrenaline too. Did not realize that at the time until I just looked at the UI. Michaela's best thing she could do here would have been to open the exit gate, funny enough. Let's reload real quick. Sorry, Feng Min, my girl, but unless you have a DS, which is not itself their own possibility. Yeah, should have anticipated that. Shoulda, but didn't. Then Michaela... What? That was a risky play if that Dead Hard, my friend. That was a risky play if that Dead Hard. But GG, well played to these survivors. Alright, well, so that does show us that yes, it does work. But is it worth on Slinger? Probably not. So who else do we want to use this on? See how well it works. I guess we could run it on Legion now, or we could run it on Huntress. Huntress is a similar question, right? Is it beneficial on Huntress? If you get the hit, will it be beneficial? Because for the most part, you're at range as is. They're going to get additional range, so they're not going to be dropping pallets anytime soon. Let's go to Legion, someone who I think it might be a little bit better on. So let's play some Legion boy. Zeros like to drop and vault pallets even against Huntress? Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm like, I don't think it's going to be as beneficial. Or if Legion, I think it could be. I think it could be. The biggest thing is you need to make sure that you hit them before the pallet with Frenzy. This will, for a matter of fact, activate Blood Favor. There's no questions in that. And in that time, we should be able to fatigue out and then get the down. So, let's see how it works. Yeah, I think on range-based killers where they get momentum, I don't think it's really going to matter too much. Trickster's kind of an exception to that rule because he's able to stay on you as Blood Favor activates and activates and activates and activates, since there is no cooldown on Blood Favor. Nemesis can also get some nice value too, because his infection, though it doesn't deal damage, will still block the pallet, so they momentum to the next pallet, but the pallet's then blocked, so then you can hit them no matter what at that point. So Nemesis actually does work well. So let's use it on the killers that we think it's going to work well on now. That we know for a fact it will work on. Alright, Legion me boy, let's see what we can do. The real question is how long are our totems going to stay up, right? I think that, I'm trying to think what behavior can do to make it where, yes, hexes are meant to be fragile. I feel like due to where in the early stages of the game, totem spawn locations were less widely known by the average player. Whereas now, it is known by not only the top players, right, the high MMR, but the average player also is all too keenly aware of where totems spawn. But we are on the family residence, testing out some Legion with Blood Favor. And yo, what's up, High Surveillance? How you doing today, my friend? Alright. Let's take a look around. Unfortunately, two of our totems spawned over here. So we fatigue out immediately. Pallets are blocked off for 15 seconds. That's unfortunate. Didn't realize that door was there. There's another Michaela. We'll leave her mending. She's going for the pallet. Perfect. You fatigue out. Now she has to go for window. 15 seconds is almost up, though, already. Yep, now it's about up. So basically, we just blocked off that pallet again. I will say there are some times where you do want pallets to get dropped. So Blood Favor off, but we didn't really lose the chase. So that was not bad. Was it great? No. But was it bad? Also no. Also, they already got my Undying and my Ruin. Only thing left is Blood Favor, which is right here. Alright, there's another Michaela here. So, 15 seconds is almost up, though, already. Yep, now it's about up. So basically, we just blocked off that pallet again. I will say there are some times where you do want pallets to get dropped. So you're relying on that pallet, it's not gonna do you much good. Blood Favor coming in clutch right now. You know, that's not bad. Very interesting. Blood Favor on Legion may not be bad at all. Huh. Very, very interesting. That's fine. We messed that up anyways. So they obviously know we have Blood Favor now, so they're gonna play a little bit more carefully around pallets. Of course, now we get the hit, Blood Favor activates. I have to say, Blood Favor not having a cooldown, pretty freaking awesome. Like that, like it really does make the perk a little bit more worth it. A little bit being the key word, of course. I will say, as I've said before, totems as a whole are starting to feel less and less worth it, though. Alright. She faked it out this time. Good stuff on her part. And where are we going? Another pallet. And they did not bless this totem yet. Thank God for that. That's unfortunate. I really was hoping that I could get that hit. But now she's out of no man land. Yeah, we get this hit. There goes Blood Favor. Not that really mattered in this moment. Yeah, so Blood Favor Legion could be kind of interesting. I will not lie. Alright, did I just see someone over there? Yes, I did. Crows go off. Alright, let's fatigue out. Blood Favor's still active. Maybe double fatigue reduction Legion with Blood Favor? Might not be a horrible idea. I didn't think this would be as good as it feels, but it feels pretty freaking good. Also, I'd rather you not touch my totem, please. I don't know how that whiffed, but okay. Uh-huh. Good for you. You want to go to that pallet? Because that ain't gonna work out too well. But I do hear the other Michaela here who's trying to heal. Yeah, what's up, Cassette? Blood Favor's still up. Yeah, Blood Favor? DC'd, sure. You do you, I suppose. And anyone else around? You guys really need to be more careful when hanging around the Legion if it can hear you. Alright, we're gonna go over here. Blood Favor did activate on her, and because Blood Favor doesn't have a cooldown anymore, I can stab multiple survivors and reset Blood Favor in the next area. Wait. That's kind of insane. Wait, why did Blood Favor disable? Now, someone else was nearby. Sure, I mean, you just locked yourself out, so that's fine. Alright, Blood Favor activates again. Or didn't. Why didn't Blood Favor activate this time? Is it saying that there's no pallets for it to lock down in that moment, I wonder? Peculiar. Alright, they finally cleansed Blood Favor. Now, is that worth it in the end? Probably not. But it did give us some good value in that moment, I will say. Alright, let's go for you real quick, because you were the one on the hook. Hi there. If you guys want a 3-man slug, that's what you're gonna get. And that will be that. Alright, that's the one that was on the hook. You are not on the hook, so let's pick you up first. Put you on a hook. What the hell that your friend doesn't have Unbreakable. You're the corner one. Where's the other one that got slugged out? You're here. Let's put you on a hook now. Was off the rails, but it's all over now because as of Tuesday, you quit? Well, hopefully quit for better things, right? You know, it does suck that the job did not treat you well, but hopefully, you know, able to move on to better things. That's fair, yeah. Better to see that writing on the wall sooner rather than later. That's awesome, Cassette. Well, I do wish you the best of luck on that. Out of curiosity, Cassette, what type of art do you do? I'm actually looking for someone to do storyboarding, potentially. Or some DVD lore. Nope, she gets hatched because it spawned right here and there's no way I could get her to a hook. That's one thing I do hate about Dead by Daylight sometimes, when you can crawl away from where a hook is. But GG, well played to these survivors. It was either that or let you bleed out, so... Alright. So... Blood Favor on Legion. You'd have to send the link to Giraffe, and then Giraffe could post it. That'd be fine. Do you want to do another Blood Favor test on Legion? It is kind of interesting to see that you can just reset Blood Favor again and again and again and again. And it does result in situations to where they have to run pretty much 32 meters away in order to get to a viable pallet. That is kind of interesting to think about. That is really interesting to think about. So instead of Corrupted Invention, let's do this. Let's run Blood Favor. Let's take off Corrupted Invention. And then throw on Thanatophobia. I want to try this again with Legion. How do you send a DM to Giraffe? Just click on their name and send it to Giraffe, and then Giraffe will be able to post it in chat. Either that, or if Discord's easier, Discord is also an option. So, I want to retest Legion. I want to retest Legion and see how good this is. Alright, sounds good. Alright, let's ready on up. This time using Thanatophobia like we normally would. Taking off Corrupted Invention, which we wouldn't always use, to be fair. And let's actually, instead of Cold Dirt, let's run the double Fell Frenzy cooldown. Which would be the mixtapes, yeah. Julie's and Joey's. Which will reduce it by 0.6 seconds, which is not bad. All right. Let's jump on in. And just cross our fingers and pray that our totems don't get cleansed within the first 30 seconds. Would be less than ideal. So who do we want to test after Legion? I guess we could test, I guess we could use Trickster and just go for that. That is true. We do have a channel in Discord for socials. That is correct. Like, I had to literally sit here and try and, like, words. Think. Words. Okay. Alright, sounds good, Cassette. Why say word, why say a lot word when few word do trick? True, true. You're not wrong in saying that. Alright. We are on the Fractured Cowshed. Let's take a look, see how good Hex Blood Favor is on the Legion. Our first match on Yamaoka didn't go horribly, but it definitely could have gone better, and we already see a survivor blessing a totem over there. Let's try and get over there and at least stab them a few times, get some Hex Blood Favor action in. Alright, so that pallet's blocked, and now the nice thing is, as we stab more survivors, Hex Blood Favor will activate again. And then Sprint Burst, that's fine. And again, that's within 32 meters. And our Killer Instinct will only show us survivors within our territories, which is 32 meters. And honestly, though we did still get by a pallet there, which would have been beautiful if it had not. Interesting. Why did Hex Blood Favor not activate there? Hex Blood Favor should have, right? Strange. Like, it should have activated on that pallet unless it didn't count it as a hit for some odd reason. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, we'll momentum hit her here. That forces us to fatigue out, but Blood Favor will activate. In that she has less resources in the immediate area. Does it reach over here? How long is 32 meters? No. Did not reach meat tree. Alright, let's fall off for a second. Well, Blood Favor will not activate on that pallet. Almost wish that it would. And I will say, you know what is going to be really unfortunate? Legion does really suffer from Circle of Healing. Like, I didn't think about that until just now, how much Legion actually will suffer because of Circle of Healing. Because Legion's all about just hitting survivors, hitting survivors, hitting survivors, and then forcing them to find other survivors to then subsequently go and heal them, right? But now Circle of Healing pretty much negates all of that. All that pressure that I gain, all they need to do is go to a totem and heal within 28 meters of it. That is, that's a thing. You can hit me out of that, that's fine. I'm A-okay with that, Cloudy Girl. She did a good job not just sitting at the pallet. So I'll commend you on that. This pallet's still up, though. Oh, no, it's not. But she did get faked out, so that works out. Once I heard the fall, I was like, wait 1 second. That's right, she stunned me on that pallet. Completely forgot about that fact. I almost wish that Blood Favor, it'd be a little bit too powerful if it also blocked off vaults on pallets. Obviously not windows, but would be interesting. Alright, we have no general aggression, but we still have anti-loop with Blood Favor. Well, like I said, the fact that they can heal consistently in certain areas is just really, really punishing. And now Hex Blood Favor's out too. So, though Circle of Healing was not really a direct nerf to Legion, it really does feel like one because of how strong it is and how it gives survivors the ability to heal within a vicinity without too much concern. You know, Michaela, I don't exactly need Blood Favor to still hit ya at a camped pallet, so that works out for me. Yeah. I think if Boon Totems stay the way they are, to where they're able to reapply Boon Totems consistently and without fear of repercussion, I would argue that Legion might actually lose a tier for all intent and purpose, if that makes sense. They're no longer, you know, right now they're like D tier as is, but due to the current meta, I think that Legion could actually go down a tier if we're taking that into consideration, which we should, right? The current meta should be taken into consideration when evaluating a killer's viability. And I think in this situation, I think with Circle of Healing as is, Legion will suffer. And even if Boon Totems get nerfed the way I think they should, I still think that will heavily affect Legion and his viability. I did not hear footsteps at all. Either Michaela has really light footsteps or I don't know what, but let's go for Claudette here instead, since she's going for the unhook. I almost got bamboozled there. That was very close. That was a very close bamboozling there, Claudie girl, I will admit. Did you get that in time? Yeah, you did. You got it in time. I'm going for the unhook. There we are. Let's force you to mend now. This one's on this gen. And let's go for you now, since you already mended. Perfect. Yeah, so do I think that it could be useful on Legion? And when I say it, I mean Blood Favor. Answer, yes. I think that it could definitely prove beneficial. However, I will say, do I think that it is an improvement upon what is already there? Mainly being Ruin Pop or Ruin Undying, Thana and Discordance. I would argue no. Honestly, I would argue no in that instance. So, I think that, honestly, if I'm looking at Legions... For a second, I thought that there was someone going to hit me with a pallet. I thought I heard breathing, but maybe not. Hello there, don't mind me, it's going to sprint at you. So yeah, I don't think it's entirely necessary to use Blood Favor on Legion in comparison to Trickster, where I think Blood Favor is just a auto-include with the way it currently works. Do I think that will get changed? Yeah, probably. I really do think that behavior is going to have to change Blood Favor on... Oh, we just botched that. I mean, it didn't matter. She didn't drop it anyways, but still. Attempted Legion tech, not gonna allow it. Oh my god, that's 1, 2, 3 survivors. Hello, Cloudy girl. Do you get sprint first, maybe? If you do, I want to go for someone else here. Alright, that's 4. But like I said, the circle of healing is kind of ridiculous for the fact that they are just able to get so much raw value off of it. She vaults, circle of healing's here, hence why Claudia was going here in the first place to heal. No pallet here is good though. There's the vault. Shadow steps also applied here, given that we don't see scratch marks. Mid vault, so we get the down. And we should, so normally I would not snuff a boon totem. From what I've seen, for the most part, there is no benefit to it because they can reapply it pretty quickly. In this instance, since they're gonna be in basement, and if we don't snuff it out, we basically are giving them a free will make it. I think, oh, never mind, she's dead. Moot point, I suppose. So I guess we keep it here. No reason not to, then. No reason not to. Alright, there's a survivor. I believe that is a Claudia girl. No, it's a Michaela. If you thought for a second I didn't see you, you are mistaken in that. Let's go for you. I don't think I get to her in time, though, is the only issue. So let's just fatigue out, then. She'll vault. Nope, she's on the L wall still. Either that or running into the next tile. Though, actually hard to say because of Shadow Step. If I hadn't seen her shadow just then, I would have lost her. There's no doubt in my mind. I would not have found her again in that moment. Shadow still there. Going for the vault, yep. Hey, I just want to check the shadow, see if it came from the pallet. Can't see it from this angle, so I'm just going to assume. Nope. That's number 2. Close on that one, but that's number 3. So she'll probably go for a pallet. Or she'll just go down, that works too. Ooh. Yeah, that input between self-care and the gen, a wee bit off there, my friend. Put you on a hook. Let's put you on a hook. There is one nearby that is not entirely nearby. It's kind of hoping that I could still block off Michaela from the unhook. Yep, that's fine. There's definitely 2 here. Let's hit one. That shows us where the second one is. Attempting to heal. We'll reset her heal. And she's saying, hit me? Sure, we'll hit you. Other one's still mending. Will they go for the unhook while they need to mend? I mean, there's no reason not to, actually. As you run, your deep wounds status effect doesn't regress at all. The timer doesn't go down. So there's really no reason not to mend in that moment. Or rather, there's no reason to mend in that moment. There's every reason not to mend and go for the unhook instead. But we'll slug out here, especially because she had the obsession markers. I do hope that they come out with a like a status effect of some kind. Not a status effect, or a sound effect, SFX, to when you break the bones. Or when you snuff out the totem, because right now it's just nothing, right? That's right, I don't have a Mori. I thought I did, but maybe not. Say Livy. Up we go. And that there will be the 4K. So, I think I've determined that though Blood Favor is not bad on Legion, do I think it's better than alternatives? Probably not, no. Especially because it is a hex. That's my biggest thing with Blood Favor as a whole, is the fact that it is a hex. Oh, I thought that my drivers went out. Apparently not. But GG, well played to these survivors. The boon totems are pretty good. Especially against Self-heal for days. Claudette's kept cleansing. Do we have trolls just cleansing totems? That's funny. That's my job. I did bring ruin after all. Good luck, have fun next match. They seem nice, they seem nice. Alright though, well, I think we've come to determination that Legion of Blood Favor, though effective, is not as good as what the current meta build is for him. Though, however, we did learn that Circle of Healing against Legion's kind of ridiculous. We don't have that many more Blood Favor candidates, so I think that we are going to instead go and use the Nemesis. Well, I think will be a pretty good Blood Favor candidate, not gonna lie. Let's run Undying. And we want to run for add-ons. Against Marvin's Blood is a auto-include, right? No reason not to. Let's do Marvin's Blood. Excuse me. And then do we want to do Tyrant Core? Or T-Virus Sample? Thank you. We could do Broken Recovery Coin. It's not actually bad, theoretically, as long as they are cleansing often enough. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Alright, so we're going to focus in on the M2s to begin with. And that should then activate Blood Favor. In which case, then they have to go 32 meters away. And at that point, even if they get to the next pallet, we'll be able to hit them over the pallet. So I think that's kind of what we're going for here with the Nemesis, is to ensure that you get as much Blood Favor value as possible. Where if Legion, that was kind of the same deal. But the thing about Legion is you can hit or vault over, then hit survivors. And then they have to make a choice of move to the next tile or replay that tile. Whereas with Nemesis, you can hit over, but you don't always want to, right? Where with Blood Favor, you can hit them before it, and you have that range to do so. Yes, I'll try and remember. Sometimes it is strategic because I want pop, sometimes it's not so much. Last match, I thought I had a Mori, but then I couldn't use it. It's kind of strange. Oh, you know what? I remember why. Because it was a Cypress Memento Mori, and not a green. No, yeah. But we are on the Rotten Fields with the Nemesis, where we're testing out some Blood Favor and seeing how effective it is with Nemesis's Tentacle Strike. But Rotten Fields is not exactly the best candidate for this, and wow, you're literally already on my totem. We just spawned into the game, and you're already here. Stop that. That's rude. Bounce landing, potentially? I mean, I know I have 3 totems, but still, you need to relax. Blood Favor is still active. A little bit too far out. I still need to play a bit more Nemesis to know the exact distance that I can hit with a Tentacle Strike. Really? And they drop the pallet immediately. Go for it. They did not actually move all too much. Yeah, they went through me. Because I didn't hear that, hear any sound. It almost feels like Survivor footsteps have been quieted. Also, Undying is gone. Zombie, you need to effing move. I really wish that the zombie did not have as much of a hitbox against... Hi. Against me. Also, is Blood Favor gone, or is that just Undying? Because what could have happened is they could have blessed my Undying and then hit my Blood Favor. Since it didn't activate just then on the M1, I'm willing to bet that they already got rid of Blood Favor. Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion that totems as a whole, or hex totems, might fall out of the meta. And the reason why I think that is because survivors really are incentivized to cleanse totems. Whether that be by blessing with Circle of Healing, or using Counterforce, Inner Strength, stuff like that, right? And so as survivors get to know the spawn points more and more and more, on an average level, and not just high MMR, I think you're gonna see people use Ruin less and less. Yeah. Like, when it works, and yes, it's supposed to be, in a way, a glass cannon, right? When it works, it's fantastic. However, when it doesn't work, it is quite difficult. Because there's another boon totem. They probably relit the one that we snuffed out before. So though Blood Favor does seem to be beneficial in these scenarios, yeah, we still need to... I'm still not entirely certain on the range. Need to play more Nemesis, get used to them too more. Yeah, I do think that Hex Totems as a whole are going to see less and less play, honestly. That is a concern of mine. And the question then becomes, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think on an average survivor or average, you know, game where survivors are neither, you know, extremely good, but not, you know, brand new, I think that's fine. My main concern becomes at high level play. Good night, Frostboy. And also Meg DC'd on first down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's first down, right? I don't know why, but you do you, I suppose. Fire's over here. Scratch marks and a Feng Min. That's too far, right? Yeah, that flashlight overpower ain't gonna do much here, my friend. Sorry to tell you. Dead hard? That's fine. The right choice was made? What, DC or... Man, I'm a 0 perk Nemesis here. I ain't that much of a threat. Let's take a look around. Yeah, so I think maybe the question is, if Ruin falls out of the meta, what do we think is going to replace it? I think Eruption is a relatively good candidate for that, realistically speaking. Because it is pretty effective. On average, it's going to probably take out 11 seconds, give or take, or 11% off of the generators. Bounce landing on the Michaela. All right, let's keep that in mind. Michaela, so no one's gone for the unhook yet. I do want to note that. Wonder why that is. We don't need to M2 her here, but I'm just going to for the sake of doing so. Honestly. There's no real, like, reasoning behind it. I had to take the swing. She had the timing if she wanted it. Oh, boom. Shadow Step just bamboozled me for a second there. I had no clue where she went. No clue at all. Yeah, Shadow Step is actually really coming in clutch because I'm not able to keep a full line of sight on her at all times. So I'm having to question her directionality. Alright. She moves off the tile. And trying to find her through the corn is easier said than done. We can snuff out the totem, but is it worth it? Crow goes off. Feng Min. I was expecting a Michaela, but this works too. I won't complain. Their only pallet here is going to be... Hello? Is going to be Meat Tree. Zombie, get her! But don't body block me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Fist bump, zombie. You did good. Oh, another Michaela. Another gem. And she's dead. Alright. Let's take a look-see. So far, they're going back over by Shack. Fine, fine, fine. Not many pallets here. Another boon totem, though. And either I missed them or they have Shadow Step now. And I genuinely don't know the answer. I think it's Shadow Step because the zombie's trailing someone. Yeah, boon totem got applied here. Shadow Step applied. And I completely lost Michaela. Yeah, Shadow Step, actually pretty good. Normally, I don't really care for perks like Lucky Break. But in this instance, right, where... Bounce landing? No. Where you can run into an area and suddenly get your scratch marks to disappear, it's actually pretty significant, ain't it? That is interesting. Because it really is the fact that with Lucky Break, I hit you, so I already have line of sight. You need to somehow break line of sight in order to get Lucky Break value. Whereas with Shadow Step, you just need to get into the aura, or into the radius of the boon totem, and now all of a sudden you have that ability. So because of that, Shadow Step might actually be worth it, especially as it is now, to where they don't get really any punishment for using boon totems. There's no risk, only reward. I think not. I think not. We're just gonna end this here, my dear. Unfortunately, neither one of these two survivors are Moriable, so 'tis what it is. Up we go. You could theoretically Deliverance. 'Tis a possibility. Survivor number 4 cannot, and looks like survivor number 3 is also trying to Kobe, so that will be the game. Not bad at all. Well, with that being said, GG, well played to these survivors. So, much like Legion, I have to ask the same question as I was going to prior, which is Blood Favor worth it on the Nemesis? And I would argue, probably not. Can it work out? Yes. Is it necessary to run 2, potentially 3 Hex Totems in that moment? No. There is, however, our very last killer, which I think, where we've kind of been testing it slowly but surely, finding, okay, is this good? Yes. Is it better than the meta? No. Trickster, though, I think Trickster's an exception to this rule. I think Trickster is right now broken of Blood Favor. So let's run some interesting builds. Let's do this. When survivor last range mark is 2 or less blades hit away from the maximum, they're inflicted with exposed. So we could do... Wait 1 second. Hold on. Iridescent photo card? Yes, we'll do that. Yo, what's up, Neko? How you doing today, my friend? Hope you're doing well. How's your day been treating you? Alright, so let's do that. And then let's do... Wait. When I hit them with shattering damage on environment, does that also activate Blood Favor? I get a feeling that we're going to just see 4 DCs. Does anyone else have a feeling about that? That's just going to be a quick ol' 4 DC? Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. Right now, testing out how broken Blood Favor is. And so far, on some of the other killers, like Nemesis, like Legion, like Slinger, we found it to be so-so. I think Nemesis is more promising, and even Legion is more promising than some. Trickster, though, it's going to be ridiculous. I have a sneaking suspicion, unless they cleanse Blood Favor quickly, I think we see 4 DCs. Maybe. We'll see. I want to get a full game in of Blood Favor Trickster, and with this build, I think it's going to be kind of ridiculous, because if they hit the exposed stat, Blood Favor will still be active, and then we can just insta-down them. What's Blood Favor? So Hex Blood Favor, and I feel like I'm still saying flavor at times. Hex Blood Favor is when you hit a survivor with a basic attack or a special attack, it will block all pallets within a 32-meter range for, I think it's like 15 seconds. Right now, there's no cooldown on it, so it's been buffed from live to the PTB. We don't know if it's going to stay this way, but right now it's interacting on Trickster in a very interesting way because each knife is considered a special attack. And because of that, as long as you get 1 knife on them, Blood Favor activates. So, right now, it's a bit busted on him. Oh, you hate that thing? I mean, before the buff, it was pretty much useless. No worries, no worries. But with that being said, we are on Rancid with the Trickster, and we are testing out some Blood Favor. And we're using some really nasty add-ons. Seeing if, you know, exposing them with Blood Favor activated, you know, is going to be strong. I have a sneaking suspicion the answer is yes. However, survivors really are totem happy as of recent. Oh, interesting. I thought that the add-on capped out the amount of interesting. I'm actually really fascinated on this. What does the add-on say? I could have sworn it was when you max it out, it activates an exposed stat. But maybe I'm wrong. I think that's what it was. I don't know if that's what it is now. 1d4 max. Gotcha. Okay, so interesting. Want to note something there. I think not hitting them directly with the knife does not activate Blood Favor. I think it's only with direct hits. I think it's only with direct hits. Trickster is in some ways kind of like Huntress, but arguably worse in many ways as well. Surprised they haven't gotten the totem here in the corner. Alright, Blood Favor is gone. I do want to note that. They have cleansed it. I mean, if you want a 1-for-1 trade, be my guest. Unless you have Dead Hard, I don't think... you might make it. Wait, why didn't you go to the pallet? Okay. Interesting choices, but I won't complain. Do you guys want to take 2 body blocks? Be my guest if you do. No, you don't. Oh, unfortunate. I think as we discussed, Slashy, I don't think it counts PS4 hours. I'm not sure if you're always watching on PC. I'm not sure if it even counts mobile hours. Good spin, though. That's actually a really good spin. You have to drop pallet now? Oh, no, pallet's gone. Right. Down you go. Been on your phone tonight? It might not count mobile. Alright, up we go. Let's reload. And Ruin is still up for right now. How long that'll stay that way yet to be determined. Yeah, so I think people have grown keen to blood favor and are now hunting it a bit more aggressively. That is to suggest they weren't already hunting totems rather aggressively. So, to be fair. Rue, how do you do it? I don't fully understand how you do it with Trickster. Let's break. Alright, down you go. What's the point in his knives? To lacerate the survivors. And when you fill up the laceration meter, it then will result in them becoming injured. And of course, you can do this multiple times over and over. So Ruin is still up. Yeah, they haven't checked that corner. That's usually a pretty common spot to check too. Check over here. There's exposed as effects. Let's pop the... Oh, I was going to pop the gem. We do have a Eerie add-on that does make him relatively stronger. You only need to go halfway and apply an exposed stats effect. We're doing it for a little bit of a cheeky play to go along with Blood Favor. Oh, that's why I can't pop it. I'm dumb. Rune's still up. For some reason, I was figuring with how quickly Rune's been going that they would have already cleansed it. But apparently, I am incorrect on that. Okay. Well, you do you, I suppose. Were you expecting a flashlight save, my boy? And what's your game plan now? Attempt at 360? Don't have a Mori. I do have a Mori. Well, you get to watch yourself be killed by the Trickster. Quite a sight to say the least. You even get to see the unhook too. Here you guys go. And let's go for you now. And if you get down, then that will result in your Mori as well. Let's peek out. And let's Mori you. And you're welcome. Alright, might as well reload at this point. That's 2 down, and I'm pretty sure we've hooked both of them at least once, so I think neither one of them are Moriable yet. Keywords, of course. Yeah, being that keyword. Let's check this gen. Nothing there. Oh yeah, Trickster's Mori is rather cool. Rather unique, to say the least. No one there. I just heard Survivor. Hi there. I could hear you breathing a mile away, my friend. Sorry to tell you. Alright, that's fine. And now she's exposed. Let's down her. Yeah, the iridescent add-on's not bad. I don't know. Oh, I have not hooked one of them. Okay, well, we can more you then. Mori number 3. Here you go, my dear. You're welcome. And that hatch RNG, you know, hand it to us on a silver platter, why don't you? However, these exit gates are a little less than ideal. So, on one hand, here's what I'm going to say about Hex Blood Favor. Is it good on Trickster? Yes. My biggest concern, though, really is that hexes are going to fall out of favor. For better or for worse. Survivors will probably cheer in that they won't have to cleanse as many hexes, yes. On the other hand, I do fear the idea that we're going to have to do something about that. Alright, goodbye. You go into the basement now. Up we go. And Neko, thank you much for the follow. Welcome to the Guilty Ones, my friend. I am Mark, aka Guildspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach skills how to play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. Very happy to have you here. So is Blood Favor on Trickster good? Yes. Do I think that it's going to be a good idea in general? No. GG, well played. Good luck, have fun, next match. And was DJ live by chance? Or were they offline? Looks like they're offline. All right. Yeah. So what are my thoughts on Blood Favor? I think in a vacuum, the updated Blood Favor with killers like Legion, killers like Nemesis, killers like Trickster. I think in a vacuum, Blood Favor is really, really strong. But we're not in a vacuum, right? We're in a point of Dead by Daylight where it's not just your veterans that know every single totem spawn. And even the average player who doesn't can now use perks that can show them where they are. Whether that be small game, whether that be Detective's Hunch, whether that be Counterforce, right? So, I think, yes, it's strong. But only if the survivors are not cleansing totems. And the question then gets raised, what survivors aren't? Right? So I don't know. And maybe this is just me talking in this way because I am a higher MMR killer. And maybe I don't have the perspective needed for, like, your average player. But higher MMR? Yeah, I don't think it is. Yo, what's up, DJ? Thank you much for the follow. Welcome to the Guilty Ones, my friend. I am Mark, aka Guildspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach skills how to play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. GG, well played. GG, well played. Huh. Okay. You know, I want to try, even though completely irrelevant, no real changes to the PTB, I want to see if they fix Pyramid Head's animation. I am curious on that. Let's use Birdman Painting and the Wax Doll for our extra range. I love that tells us what the range is now. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Draft, out of curiosity? I don't know where you fall as far as, like, MMR is concerned. Honestly, MMR is kind of strange for Survivor. I'm not sure about Killer. I know about Killer. We know how Killer MMR works. I'm not sure about how Survivor MMR works, though. Like, what are your thoughts from a Survivor perspective? Because I know you play Survivor more than Killer. I'm trying to think, and I know everyone's kind of, you know, it's PTB time, right? It's PTB time. You need to test out everything. Everything's broken. Circle of Healing, broken. Shadow Step, broken. Blood Favor on Trickster, broken. Like, you know, very flashy titles for YouTube, right? It's been sweaty. I know Survivor on PTB is going to be a little bit, but I'm not sure if MMR is applied on the PTB or not. And right now we're just playing a match of Pyramid Head just for the sake of testing whether or not his animation's still busted. Let's see. Is it? No. I don't think it is. I'm not sure now. Like, I'm looking for it to not be, but I'm not sure. They fixed it? Okay, thank God if so. It feels like they did. I think they did, yeah. Because I'm able to do instant M2s and I don't feel, like, weirded out by it. Oh, it's in bug fixes? Okay. Okay, so we have a Swift based on that info. Where did Nia go? Okay, that's where she went. I was about to say, like, I couldn't hear her, so that tells me... Yeah, so that tells me that these two are definitely in a Swift. Because they're playing very much coordinated. Unless there's a third one with head on, I don't think there is. Yeah, that's not a great usage of that. There we go, though. Still have it pretty well. Gauge you. Hi, Dwight. Just two. Just these two. Just Dwight and Nia. We're just gonna do an M2 only game. I want to get back into practice with Pyramid Head. Because I was getting really good at his M2 and be able to use it all the time. And then frickin' behavior broke his animation. We literally did an M2 only game, like, before the update that broke the animation. And then I went to play after the update and went, well, I can't play Pyramid Head anymore. Not until they fix it. Oh, there's a boon totem upstairs, I think. Not sure it's upstairs or there. Hello. Alright, what's the game plan here? If you do that, you understand you're both going to die, right? Yeah, that's fine. He gets transported. We hit someone else. We were even aiming for Kate. That's so funny. Well, I'll go for you now since you're cageable. Yes, October 19th is when the chapter releases. Interesting dodge. No, no, no. You don't get to escape. You can give me that med kill all you want. You don't escape here. Hi, Nia. I was fully expecting her to go right, not left. Shadow Step is active in the area. Yeah, Shadow Step is actually quite the annoyance, and I feel like she's going to be coordinating with Dwight again for head-on. And where's she going? She's back towards middle, which means Shadow Step will get activated. Yep, there goes scratch marks. So we need to try and keep line of sight on her as much as possible. Yeah, she's mixing up the way that she's dodging now. She's now just holding in place. Did they fix side strafing, though? I don't think they did. Hold on, let me try this. No, they didn't. So you can still no longer side strafe while using your ability, which is a bit unfortunate. Hi, Dwight. I know you're here. So before you could move ever so slightly to the left and to the right while using your power, and you can no longer do so. I'm not sure if that's purposeful or not. Also, Draft, you could ban the hotspot. Would be appreciated. I see they're trying to change it up now and put words before the Haas. Thank you. Go for cake now, why not? Ooh, she rounded that corner ever so slightly. Okay, my dear. Run upstairs, you are. That's fine. Do you have bounce landing, maybe? Yeah. The fact that you can't, whatchamacallit, you can't M2 strafe anymore with him is actually kind of unfortunate. It does weaken his ability ever so slightly. I got the down, though. Need to break the door. Otherwise, I might not be able to get her onto the hook. I hear someone behind me. I think that's Michaela, potentially. Can we get you in the basement or no? I think we can. There we go. Perfect. And that's a skill check miss on that generator. Fine by me. Let's start heading over that way. And then I think they went to a locker. I'm pretty sure that's probably Nia or Dwight, right? There's Michaela. She's been the gen jockey this entire time. And we haven't really chased her much either. There we go. We're not doing horribly right now, that's for sure. Excellent. Probably gonna want to play it safe here. And check the locker, just in case. And let's put you onto a hook. They haven't gotten the unhook on Kate yet. Alright, sounds good. I mean, they're definitely nearby the basement. Why not go and get her? Well, there's either unhook or Kobe. And there's death in basement. Why? They had all the time in the world. Strange. Very strange. Not sure where Michaela went. Jen over here has very little progress. Oh, there's flashlights in the sky. Looks like Dwight and Nia. Oh, that's why. Dwight and Nia have literally given up. That is why. Okay. Hello. Were you trying to CJ tech, you frickin' dunce? What were you thinking you were going to accomplish from that, eh? What were you going to accomplish with that, Dwight? Now, this is what you get. This is what you get for trying to CJ tech me. Enjoy. Oh, the Nia frickin' DC. Fantastic. I guess we look for Hatch then. Oh, we found Michaela. Even better. Michaela. Saw you're over here. Not sure where you went though. Oh, there you are. Opposite side of the hill. Alright, well, I guess we'll just try and empty you down. So, it definitely feels better. I'm very happy that they did fix the animation bug. I'm still kind of disappointed they took away the M2 strafe. Let's do this. Oof. A little bit behind. As I need some more practice again. Come on now, don't you run. You know you want to be put in the cage. There we go, we got it. Let's cut off some distance here. And it's them too. Yeah, so like we said, you can't strafe as much as you used to, which is rather unfortunate. Put you up on a hook. Okay, because I can do this, but then it stops immediately and you can't move left or right at all. Whereas before you could move a little bit to the left or right. Yeah, it just stops dead in its tracks. That does really suck. That is maybe an unintentional nerf, but a nerf nonetheless for those who used to play him pretty well. Can I do a backwards one? I can still go backwards a bit. But GG, well played to the survivors. But all things considered, not bad doing M2 only, with the exception of the down on Dwight. I was not going to stand for that attempted CJ attack. How so? I'm curious. Who is Hex Nemo? Was that... Who is this? That's not a look at. I want to look at this. Hex Nemo was Michaela. I think that they gave up when they realized that. Fair. I think they were memeing with head-on. But good luck, have fun next match. Alright. Well, definitely nice to have Pyramid Head back and working better than ever. Unfortunate about the M2 strafe, though. That is actually pretty significant. Is there anything else that I want to test, though? Like, we tested Blood Favor, and I have gathered my opinions. Anything else we want to test? And there's some pig add-ons that I do like the sound of. Which ones were they? Let's see. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. No. 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 Ah. Interesting. No. Ambush attack movement speed increased by 6%. And time to charge... increases time to charge, though, by 66. Wow, that... On one hand, the movement speed increase is really nice. On the other hand, the ambush increased time is kind of meh. Injured, hemorrhage. Ambush attack speed by 50% and misses the cooldown. So we could use Workshop Grease with Last Will, theoretically. That's not bad. Combat straps increases crouching and crouching by 30%. Still pretty good. See the yellow one? Which one? The Workshop Grease or the Last Will? And crouching by 30. Workshop Grease. That one does seem interesting. It's basically like, what was it? VHS? I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not sure how much different it is from VHS, though. Let me check the patch notes. Patch notes. Let's take a look. So, let's Control F, pig. Alright, let's see. Jigsaw sketch, videotape. Survivors begin the trial. Was uncommon, made ultra rare. Increase ambush attack charge speed by 50%. Decrease ambush by 25. So it looks like they reworked a videotape and then made Workshop Grease that, interestingly enough. What was DBD Survivors? Let me take a look at the pigs add-ons prior. What was the percentage before? Pig, Amanda Young. And if you look at add-ons for the videotape. Where is it? Let's see. Increases dash charge speed by 25 or 50% and decreases cooldown by 25%. Wait, is it the same exact thing now? Okay, it's exactly the same thing as what the VHS was, or the videotape was. They just reworked videotape into the reverse bear traps are installed on everyone. Just says moderately on the wiki. If you actually hover over the word moderately on PC, it tells you the percentage. So, I guess with that being said, not much to test then on Pig, with the exception of Last Will, which we could see if the increase of 16% is worth it. Because we could go Workshop Grease Last Will. Why is it unavailable? No idea. We have no insight to why it's disabled. It just is disabled right now. Which, you know, I actually kind of like to see, because that means that the kill switch is currently, well, working. So it is kind of cool to see that. Let's go Last Will. Let's go Workshop Grease. Let's play it. Why not? We're going to be doing more Crouch Pigs. We're going to use Save the Best for Last instead of using Sloppy Butcher, which would be what I use if I use Tamper Timer, for example. Hey, what's up, Froshi? Thank you much for the raid. Welcome, welcome, Raiders. I am Mark, aka Giltspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach Ghosts how to play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. Hope you all are having a great day. Would love to have you as part of Guilty Ones. And we are currently doing some PTB testing. We've, I think we've kind of exhausted the majority of the PTB. We tested out Trapper, we tested out Plague, we tested out Slinger. We tested out Blood Favor on a few killers. But now we're kind of like, we're starting to kind of go into the nitty-gritty, kind of the bottom of barrel stuff with the Pig now. We're testing out some of the new add-on changes, Last Will and Workshop Grease, which was previously the videotape. Last Will is kind of interesting because now this increases your movement speed during the dash attack by 6%. But also increases the charge time by 66%, which is a little less than ideal. What's the TLDR? There's a lot. Like, normally I'd be able to give you a quick TLDR, but we've literally been playing the PTB since Tuesday because of how much there is. Lots of add-on changes, new Survivor with Boon Totems, which is Michaela Reed, Spirit nerf, Deathslinger nerf, Trapper buff, Plague buff. Who else got buffed? Not really anyone else. That was really like the major two buffs. Blood Favor buff, which I don't think is going to be too consequential. You make YouTube vid on it? I did make a YouTube vid on the second half of the update. They did a 2-part update. So I didn't do part 1, but I did do part 2, which I think was the more significant one, to be honest with you. But now we're going to be testing out the Pig. We're going to be focusing on trying to do a lot of ambushes here. Try and get some good ambush value. The amount of speed that you get's not bad. Is it worth it for the most part? Probably not. Is that quick and quiet? Kind of feels like it. Honestly, we're just gonna dive off of Dwight. There's no reason to chase him in our corrupt zone. It was a bad idea from the start. I was just being aggressive because why not? It's the PTB. There goes Ruin. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about totems anymore, as from a killer's perspective. I really don't. Like, the more I think about it, the more I question whether or not it's a good idea to use them as a killer, right? So I think if we were to decrease the charge time, that maybe this could work a bit better. Like, it makes it really good on those type of loops, but I think 66, or in this case, because of us using both the Workshop Grease and this, the 16% increase is still a little bit too much. Maybe, but I don't know. I've definitely started to feel this way more and more, to be honest. Where it is becoming pretty obvious that... Man, that was actually a pretty good play, that fake. That's 3, so now you're forced to drop pallet. You don't drop pallet, though. Dead hard? You have to have a dead hard if you're playing this. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So, before, the risk usually outweighed, the reward usually outweighed the risk. Now, though, I'm not so certain about that. Where now I'm starting to feel as if the risk is outweighing the reward, right? That's my major concern. So, I think that the reason for that is because survivors at a average level now know where the totems spawn. It used to be that, you know, the higher tier or higher MMR survivors, they knew where all the totems spawned, yes. But your average survivor didn't, right? So I think that is the larger issue at hand that we have to kind of worry about now. Okay. So you want to hit me at the pallet. That's fine. You do you. We're going to vacuum you out of the pallet. So I can then do this. Or not, because I picked up Nia instead of you, but I get a feeling I'm going to get hit by a power struggle. Watch. Power struggle? Gonna call it right now. No. No power struggle, surprisingly. Okay, that's fine by me. I will gladly take that. 2 hooks right there. Back to back. I mean, I can just sit on this hill and play King of the Hill. Hi there. How you? You guys doing well? I'm gonna try and hit Claudette and not Michaela, but Michaela's gonna try and come out here. Yep, she's going for the one in the back. She has a pallet too as well to work with. Yeah, there's Claudia girl. Alright, what say you, survivors? How you wanna play this, eh? That puts you down now. Let's grab you, put you on hook. Nope, not gonna work on me. Thank you. I love it when survivors try and CJ tech. It is my favorite pastime, seeing them with a flashlight in hand, very obviously going for the CJ tech. My favorite thing in the world. Every single time. It truly is. And it's such a satisfying thing to grab them over that pallet. Like, you think I'm that stupid? You better guess again. Oh, love it. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Alright, let's do this. You have a pallet here. No, but you do have your boon totem with shadow stuff. Freaking nightmare of a perk. Pallet here. You don't use it though. And Dwight suicided. Fair game, honestly, given the circumstance of the situation. No, I think not. I think you go up on hook now. I think you go up on hook now. I have a Mori, don't I? Whoops. Well, I guess, you know, if you get unhooked, then I can Mori you. Claudie girl. Are you gonna go save your friends? Or will you let her die and try and get Hatch? So far, looks like she did suicide. So no Mori for the pig, unfortunately. And no, oh, there's Claudie. Hi there, you wanna boop the snoo? I'll let you boop the snoo. What say you, Claudie? You wanna boop the snoo? You can boop the snoo, I won't kill you. If you refuse and you keep on running, I'll kill you. Come on now, you wanna boop the snoo? Come on, Claudie girl. Alright, well, if you're not gonna boop the snoo, I'll go find Hatch myself. Oh, you're here? No. Well, looks like she found it first anyways. I must have passed right by it, off of the hook. Ah, oh well. But GG, well played to these survivors. Alright. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, just a little. You know, CJ Tech didn't go too well for them. Good luck, have fun next match. Tis rude, but c'est la vie. They farmed themselves to death? Yep, that sounds about right. That is rather accurate. Oh, criminy. All right. I don't know. I'm trying to think now, like, if there's anything else I want to really check that I really want to test out with the PTB. Is there anything else that really piques my interest? Otherwise, we might be back to live tomorrow. Could you see the new Survivor? We can do that, yeah. I just want to check Killer before we jump back. Trapper. We've already done Traps. Or Trapper. And that was a lot of fun with Eerie Stone and Bloody Coil. We could see how significant the Wraith's uncloaking speed duration is. They did bring it down from 1.25 seconds to 1 second. I'm not sure how significant that quarter of a second is going to be. And then all seen, the range got decreased from 12 meters in corn maps, at least for comp. Hillbilly got add-on changes that I don't think really matters. Decreases heat generated while charging, decreases heat generated while charging. Wait. Oh, they have Death Engravings and Doom Engravings. Add-on effect. Wait, you say the same thing. Death Engravings, added effect, decreases heat generated while charging. Doom Engravings, added effect, decreases heat while recharging. I guess that has additional effects. Mother's Helpers, charge speed bonus after being stunned, increased from 18 was 12. Meh. I guess if you're running like Spirit Fury Enduring, that's not bad. Or potentially even Enduring. Add-on Tune Carburetor, charge speed bonus to 25%. Black Grease reworked, charge speed, increases charge speed by 18% from 30 seconds after being blinded. Meh. Pig House Gloves increases action speed by 20% when breaking pallets or walls or damaging generators while overheated. Decreases duration of pallet stuns by 50%. That's actually not horrible, I will say. Because that basically is like half of a Enduring on an add-on. Kind of okay. Yo, what's up, Apocalyptic? How you doing? Nurse, we already did that. Torn Bookmark, Shape. We already tested out Vanity Mirror, but weren't able to do much because of Boon Totems. Hag, meh. Pig, there's some stuff, but for the most part, it's kind of lackluster. Spirit, the biggest thing is the phasing for directional cues. Plague, we already tested. Deathslinger, we've already tested. Ghostface, already tested. Blight, add-on changes are meh. Oni, Scalp Top Knot got, whatchamacallit, nerfed, which was deserved. Honestly, that add-on could have got reworked or removed. Anything else? Not really. Surge, Mindbreaker, Cruel Limits, Blood Favor, Third Seal, Thrill the Hunt, Mindbreaker. Yeah, there's not much else. So I guess let's jump into some Survivor then. There's no reason not to. Alright. Let's go back on to Kayla Reed. I guess we could at least get tier 3 on her perks if at all possible. No harm in doing so. There's Clairvoyance, even though it's kind of a garbage perk and actually does not synergize with any of her other perks. I don't know what's up with that. I'm not sure if that's a bug or a feature. Because when you bless a totem, it does not count as cleansing. Because it does not count as cleansing, Clairvoyance doesn't get any benefit. It's kind of silly. Yeah, I would have thought that she would have. I'm really surprised that she didn't. And I kind of wish that she did. It would have made just a little bit more sense, in my opinion. Kind of the same way that when Hag introduced Hex perks, right? Where is this Var from, or is she an original character? She is an original character. We actually did a full lore readout over on the YouTube channel, so if you do want to catch that, definitely make sure to do so. And I've been pitching this idea to pretty much everyone who jumps in the chat that I have not pitched it to already. What are your thoughts on a... No, Haas, you will get banned. Get banned there, Haas. Oh, okay, there's 4 Haas, there's Shu Haas, that's 2 now. I think that's 3 for the day. Lovely stuff. Goodbye. Actually, where's that setting? Hold on. Moderation? Would it be on the moderation or would it be on the channel? Moderation. Automod rule sets. Block term and phrases. Permitted terms and phrases. Chat verification. All chatters must have a verified email. I mean, it's not... I mean, a verified email is just a good thing to have in general, but... Interesting. Phone verification... The question is, like, who doesn't have, like, 2-step verification on at this point, right? So all people should have a verified phone number. At least I would think so. At least personally, I would think so. Because, do I? I actually don't know. I should probably check that before I say. Funny enough, I actually don't have a phone number on my account. Funny enough. And I do have 2-factor authentication on. It's just not via phone number. Yep, request SMS. Might as well do that as I talk about it so I'm not a hypocrite. Alright, there we go. What the hell? Oh, I need to then... Interesting. They sent a code, and then they sent another... Wait. Twitch, you make no sense. You sent a code to my phone to then send me another code to verify my phone. Because I already had my phone as part of the account, but you didn't remember. Okay, whatever. Yeah, his all scene did get nerfed. And that is actually rather significant. I mean, you have to... When you create your account, you have to verify your email too, right? So let's verify email. Chatters without a verified email must have followed for more than... But... No. This is stupid. Twitch. Hold on one second. If I'm reading this... Oh, Jesus Christ, Twitch. You're a frickin' moron. I am reading this right. So, email verification. I want to look at this real quick. Let me read this out for those who don't... Ah! Twitch, you're so stupid. This doesn't fix anything. This fixes nothing! Dumb. I guess it fixes hate raids. But doesn't fix frickin' hotspots. All you had to do is the same thing, but the frickin' follow button. That would have made so much sense. Have an option for chatters and followers. Have it so that followers need to frickin' verify. What the? That's so stupid. Twitch, why are you stupid? Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, you can, but it's less easy. You still have to verify, and then you have to have a phone number. And at least the phone number, still. Twitch is dumb. Never mind. I guess I need to set up the bot that, the bot that Vader sent me. I guess I'll have to set that up. Dumb. Twitch is dumb. Where's my other perks? And that's why people are so mad with Twitch and the bots, because there isn't anything to do against it. Yeah, like, when I saw the email, I'm like, oh, that's great. You know, I'll set that up. That way, you know, hotspots won't be able to follow as easily. Yes, they can still work around it, but it still makes it harder, because the more hoops you make them jump through, the less likely it's going to be a thing. But then they go ahead and just say, well, they can't chat. So, like, I'm not worried about chat. I mean, on one hand, I am worried about chatters in the sense of hate raids. I do have LGBTQA+ in my tags. So, am I theoretically a target for hate raids? Yes, because they do target minorities. But I feel like they are targeting more, like, people of color. So, is that good in that sense? Yes. Have I been the target of them? No. Because of that, do I feel that I need to worry about it as much? Not yet. So, I guess there's give and take in that sense. Is it a good change? Absolutely. Is it a change that I feel like was affecting me in this moment? No. Yeah, her look is amazing. I really do love it. Drivers went out. Oh, I was hoping that she's going to go the other way, so Demo wasn't incentivized to go over the hill, which he still did, but he didn't go for me at least. All right, let's blast this totem. We've seen how significant Shadow Step can help. Yeah, it is kind of insane. Yeah. So I guess what I'll do is I'll probably set up the Siri bot. And it just sucks that that is like a third-party thing, right? It's something that you have to set up because Twitch hasn't done anything about it. That's the absurd part. For a demo? I hear demo. I don't see demo. Must went towards middle. Must went towards middle. Alright, he's in chase. I'm gonna have to take a body block. I can't heal you. I don't know if you understand, but that Terius tells me that demo is near you, fool. She literally sat still. Like, oh, this Terius is fine. We're okay. No need to worry. Oh, interesting. So, we are getting an additional heal buff. There must be two... Okay, yeah, there are two boon totems. Another change they do need to make to boon totems is that they don't stack. Because right now, their range does stack. Alright, I think he's going on the inside. So I think we can go down here. I'll say I don't exactly want the totems to stack because it's kind of lackluster value. Yeah, you can like insta-heal, but I feel like Shadow Step could be worth it in some cases. Yeah, so you still heal at 100% speed with Circle of Healing. However, when the totems are stacked, when the 28 meters overlap, it increases your heal speed again. So you do get that extra benefit. So I do think they need to make it to where the ranges don't stack. How they will program that, I don't know. Maybe just that when, you know, both of them are overlapped, you just don't get the bonus, right? We'll have to wait and see. Because like I said, right now there is so much reward without any potential risk. And it just makes no sense from my perspective. I think, like I said, I think the easiest way to fix it is one of two ways. Either make it so that the boon totem, when cleansed, gets crushed and cannot be reapplied, or that when cleansed, it deactivates your perk. Hi, Demo. Bye, Demo. I did quite literally run into him. Well, we'll start regressing this. Or progressing, rather. I'm sure someone... I would hope that someone's going for the frickin' unhook. Apparently. Okay, they did get the... Oh no, it's the person that should not have been getting the unhook. It's literally the last person that should have. Oh god. Well, if I can get this, I'll try and go for the body block. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's not much I can do for you. Sorry to tell. Yeah, we don't... That's one thing I will say about Shadow Step. You don't need to worry about running while in... Cruel Limits? Cruel Limits, question mark? I feel like that might be Cruel Limits. I don't know for certain, though. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna bless this totem real quick. Try and spread out the totems a little bit so we can get some Shadow Step value. As well as heal over a wider radius. So that double heal buff is nice. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, the animation is nice. I do like it. Alright, so she is currently on the hook. Hi there, Cheryl. You do that. I'll go for the unhook. I don't have BT, which is a mild issue. Right. Go that way. Come this way now. Hello. Let me heal you real quick. Will take but a second. Yeah, basically, it's another thing is, too, that when you heal someone else, it's basically a will make it, in a nutshell. Demo, oh, no, Demo Boy, don't go for her. That's not how this works. Don't do that. Pretty sure Demo's downstairs. Okay, now run. Yeah, that's kind of insane. That is kind of insane because in Chase, we got upstairs. He has to break the pallet. That's 8-second heal. I mean, to be fair, he didn't stay on top of us, but still. And, you know, with that being said, on top of which, he's not able to see our scratch marks. That was a thing. That was a thing right there. He's not able to see that I ran off. It is pretty strong. You know, honestly, I think, you know, you don't need 4 people to run this in a game. I think just one person using Circle of Healing is pretty significant. The thing is, I can run right now without any fear. So normally you have to kind of be patient, crouch it out. Oh no. Alright, then we body block. Mikhail, why? Okay, you have BT. Thank God you have BT. I swear to God, if you freaking just ran into Demo, I would have died inside. I was really hopeful, but I didn't know for certain. Bye, Demo. You know, you can never say for certain. Survivors do some stupid things. But thankfully, she used that appropriately. But GG, well played to these survivors. and the Demo Boy. Yeah, so he can cleanse, or Demo could cleanse, but he couldn't, he can't really do much else, right? He cleanses, you then go back to the tome, you spend 60 seconds blessing it again, and that's pretty much it. It reapplies. And yes, as you reapply the boon totem, you lose out on value. At the same time, in my opinion, for the most part, outside of some unique circumstances, there's no reason to cleanse the totem. True, that's fair, that's fair. Yeah, Clairvoyance just does not synergize with her perks at all. It's really dumb. I mean, I understand, because theoretically speaking, if an instance of blessing counted as a cleanse, then you could use Inner Strength theoretically, as of this moment, infinitely. So I do understand that, but still, it is not synergistic with her perks in the slightest. Alright, well, let's even get tier 3 Shadow Step and tier 3... Nope. Tier 3, whatchamacallit. Blanking out. Circle of Healing, there we go. Words. Words sometimes work, sometimes they don't. Buckle up. Let's grab you. Spelled Michaela? Yeah. It's not, not something, a name that I remember how to spell easily. Alright, level 50 affair. I wish this would cross over, but it definitely will not. That's one thing I do wish with the PTB is, like, if you take the time to go into the PTB, could you please, like, give me the blood points or the progress that I got? It'd be really nice, but I know that will never happen. Gotcha, that makes sense, yeah. Definitely would be harder to remember. Alright, can I please get Shadow Step and, whatchamacallit? Circle of Healing. Would be nice. Alright. Well, there's Shadow Step. About frickin' time. NT says no, apparently. Thankfully, I'm not grabbing any tier 2s, so it should eventually give me the tier 3 that I want. All her perk spoons? No, there's Clairvoyance, which... I feel like... I have a feeling about something. I can't say for certain, but, like, just based on how non-synergetic Clairvoyance is, I feel like maybe there was a third boon totem, and either behavior said, let's keep that one for another, or initially cleansing or blessing counted as a cleanse. But then, what they should do is on certain perks they should add whenever you cleanse or bless a totem. Like, Clairvoyance would make sense to have it during a blessing, not just a cleanse. Whereas, like, you could on Inner Strength say only when you cleanse a totem, i.e. breaking it. Yeah, either Clairvoyance was what they see when they initially did it and they're going to change it over to cleanse equaled bless and bless equaled cleanse, and it was too strong in testing, or that there's a third boon totem, either they saved it for another update, or it was too strong, and so they just kind of shoehorned Clairvoyance in. But yeah, for Clairvoyance, like, Clairvoyance is just so unsynergistic. It makes no sense. And to be fair, there are some other killers that their perks, you know, have seemed that way. Also survivors that seem that way. But, like, this one especially seems odd. At least some other ones I can at least make an argument this one I can't really make an argument. Like, it's 9 times out of 10 with her perk, the dead perk. 9 times out of 10. I'm trying to think if I have a video that I want to, like, take from today's stream or not. Honestly, Blood Favor kind of fell flat in my opinion because of how quickly survivors were cleansing totems. It really fell a little bit flat. I didn't feel like, oh god, this is amazing and broken OP. Kind of like, okay, well, you know, if survivors are cleansing it, it really doesn't do much like any other hex totem, right? When it does work, it's kind of nutty, but when it doesn't, it's kind of meh. Yeah. Not really anything that stands out to me to make into a video on, like, Trapper. Trapper, like, was significant enough of a buff that, like, making a update on him or a video on him made a lot of sense. Then obviously we did a 30-minute video for Michaela, like, correction, or be specific, 26 minutes. But that doesn't exactly roll off the tongue when you put it in title. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Hey, what's up, Slaughter? Let's have a good game, my friend. And I appreciate you stopping by saying hi. Is it 10 seconds over multiple uses? That's a good question. I don't know, because every time I've used these perks, I just don't cleanse. I freaking bless instead, because it makes no sense not to. Is there a totem over here? There's not. Ruin, yes, no. No ruin. And I guess I could cleanse a totem and find out. What are my outs? Closed pallet over there. Not a lot of visibility on the area, though. Hi. There's no ruin, I promise. You don't need to check because I already checked. No heartbeat yet. And no one's been in chase. That's mildly concerning. Nope. Okay, someone's in chase. Probably not a Legion, probably not a Death Slinger. Not sure who, but not one of those two at least. But yeah, as it stands right now, I think that is not worth it for killers to snuff out boon totems. Is there a totem up here? Or down here? Doesn't look like because this would not be a bad place for a boon totem. The biggest thing is, I will say, a lot of survivors are going to have to learn where to strategically place boon totems, I think. Because I think if you're going to place a boon totem, you want to place it where the killer's not going to go necessarily. What? No ruin. I already know this. Now you know it too. Either Cheryl's going on a really long chase or the killer has already given up. I'm not sure which. Okay, they're on Dwight now. Sure. So they must have given up on Cheryl. Fair enough. All equip boon perks are active on the same totem. I mean, the thing is, they're going to add more boon totems eventually. So, I think they still should have added it because, once again, there's that risk versus reward. But the thing is, right now, there is no risk for the survivors, right? Because when your totem gets snuffed out, nothing happens. That's the thing. So, like I said, I think the major change that needs to happen... Hi, can you not, like, go right there? I think the major thing that needs to happen is that when oh, it's a spirit. When a killer snuffs out a boon totem, it destroys the totem. and or, you know, removes the perk. Spirit's coming back. Well, that's unfortunate. If you bless a Hex Totem, it removes the Hex. And actually, Shadow Step against Spirit is really strong. Because it removes your scratch marks. So, unless Spirit's able to see your blood, it kind of ends up being a GG for most chases. Let's heal you in 8 seconds. Dwight goes back down, though. That's painful to watch. Yeah, even if the killer destroys the boon totem or cleanses it, it doesn't get destroyed. Ooh, she might have the add-on where she can see your killer instinct, potentially. No, they do not get their hex back. That is correct. Hi, Dwight. Hope you're recovered. Thank you. Do you... Okay. So you had Quick and Quiet. You fast vaulted into the locker. That's fine by you. Do you have Inner Strength? No, you just went into the locker for the sake of going into the locker? Sure, I guess. Alright, Spirit, my girl. Let's play. Let's extend the amount of distance you need. You're a 110. So you should be able to make this vault without issue. I have another out. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Spirit, are you sure you want to chase me here? Because I can do this for a while. The Spirit said no and went for someone else. They snuffed out the boon totem. Yeah, the upstairs vault's actually pretty strong. And go back boon totem. Will she come back for the same totem, I wonder? Wait, why is Dwight here? No, no, no. Don't do that. No, you hit me there. Well, I guess I can heal myself, but I don't know why Dwight's here. Cheryl, can you do something rather than just frickin' sit there? She's literally doing nothing. She's just watching frickin' Laurel and Hardy. I'm gonna have to body block for her. Thank you. Come on, chase me, not her. Perfect. Let's vault in. Alright, she's chasing Dwight. Can Boo Jones counter Haunted Ground? No. When you bless a Haunted Ground totem, it still activates Haunted Ground. Question for you. How does the perk Autodidact read? Hi, Dwight. You're gonna want to move. You're gonna want to move. Thank you. Oh, head on with Dwight. Very nice, sweet boy. Vault the T-wall. Go to L next. Oh, she went out of phase. I was trying to listen for the phase, didn't know where she's going. Every successful skill check while healing a survivor. Will boon totems and autodidact work together? Like the circle of healing boon totem? I'm actually curious on that. Alright, Cheryl trades. Good for her. Dwight, please get me quick. It doesn't work with self-care. Dude, get on! Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, she drops. Dwight's gonna get slugged out. Watch. Good stuff. Good stuff, Dwight. Now he goes to the other hook. Oh, why were you not recovering? Oh, okay. Okay. That's a thing. She's down now. The only way I can heal myself is by blessing this. Doesn't work with self-care, which is weird. Only says it doesn't work with using a med kit. Yes, so I'm wondering if maybe they missed something. Yeah, no, I know it doesn't work with self-care. I'm curious. And this does say that heal self, self-care. So I'm imagining autodidact probably doesn't work, but willing to test the theory. No harm in doing so. All right, so we're gonna have to unhook Cheryl. Dwight's dead. Oh, there's nothing we can do. We unhook and then we get hit. I don't have BT, so no matter what, one of us dies here. Have fun, Cheryl. Maybe you can pick me up at some point. Let's see if she can loop main building as good as I did. There's the vault. There's life. She needs to lose her. And then would need to come pick me up. I can try and crawl to my boon. Nope, she's down. No way of her getting back up, so I guess we just crawl for Hatch and just hope that RNG favors us. I bet you she sees us. Yup. Nope. Yep, there we go. She may have heard the grunts of pain. That may have been a thing. I actually gave that some real thought, and I don't think boon totems actually combo with anything. I think they are like a filler, if that makes sense. Like they fill in at, you know, the end of builds. I don't think it's something that it really synergizes with much. What are we doing here? Oh, you wanna snuff the totem out? Okay. Sure. I'll just lay here. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. Like how she took her time to drop me to then snuff out the boon totem. Alright, where are we going, Spirit? I mean, at this point, I would have let the survivor off the hook, and so they can go find it themselves, so I don't need to carry them all around. But I guess the Spirit does what the Spirit wants to do. She's nice, at least. You know, she's going through a lot of effort to freaking search Mother's Dwelling. Apparently. Quite a lovely stroll, too. But GG, well played to the survivors and the Spirit. I feel like the survivor here was not all too happy. I mean, the killer did well enough to kill So not real. Also, gotta head to bed. All right, no worries, Froshi. Hope you have a great day. Not early gen rushing, but the killer did what they need to do. To be fair, he didn't play well. Many back to back downs. Oh, these survivors. A little bit entitled, don't you think? Especially from, wait, Chronic. Who is Chronic? Someone DC'd? I didn't even realize that they DC'd. Was it Cheryl? Chronic was the other Michaela. Yeah, Shadow's step is rough. Dude, it doesn't matter. Just move on to the next game. Good luck, have fun. Next match. They can sit there and talk all day. It's like, the killer is as what the killer does. They kill. But let's do, I'm going to do one test, and I think I'm going to call it there a little bit early. Where's Autodidact? Do we not have it on Michaela? I think we do, but it's yellow. So we're going to switch over to Felix Boy, who does have Boone's Circle of Healing. Let's do these. How do you want to do this? We could do Autodidact, Boone's Circle of Healing. We'll do Shadow Step as well for the sake of it. And then let's do... want to do? Let's do Sprint Burst, I guess. No, we'll do BT. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. We'll do BT. BT seems like a good idea. All right. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I do like the update. I think that the nerf to Deathslinger probably could have done a little bit better, though not like too atrociously bad to make him impossible to play. Boon totems do need to get nerfed just a little bit, nothing too significant to make them unusable, but enough to where it's not, you don't have any risk involved with using a totem perk. Unlike, you know, like the killer. What else? Trapper buff, really strong. Spirit nerf, decent enough, but Spirit's still a strong killer. I mean, she, in her phase walk, she's moving at 167 speed. You don't know where she is, even if you do have a sound indicator to measure, you know, directionality and distance. Let's see. Blood favorite buff. I think people are hyping it up because of the PTB for views. I think that if not cleansed, much like any totem, it is a nightmare to play around. But you can't just simply rely on pallets, right? You need to also look into vaults. It's true. This is true. What else? Built-to-last is the only thing outside of boon totems that I'm kind of concerned about when it comes to pubs. When it comes to other things, not so much. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it used to be when she was close and they made it at distance, and now they make it as long as you're within 24 meters of the spirit. Not where she phase walked, but where she physically is in that moment. As long as you're in 24 meters. So basically, think of it as a tear radius or a lullaby of sorts. But we're just going to test out whether or not Autodidact works on self-heal. Successful skill check while healing a survivor. A survivor is the key word there. If that does work, I'll be rather surprised. I doubt it will, because it's considered a self-healing action. And it does not work with self-care. Yeah, it is not the... They are not the best of wording, you are correct. Because self-care... What's the wording on that? The wording on self-care is... to heal yourself without a healing item. Self-heal. So I'm pretty sure it's going to not work. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things will happen. I don't think it will, based on the wording. It does say a survivor, which normally when it says a survivor, it normally suggests that it will not work. Though, I guess, like, then there are perks like self-preservation when another survivor within 60 meters of you gets hit. Doesn't say a survivor, because a survivor would suggest you getting hit would proc it, but another survivor makes it very clear that it will not proc when you get hit. What other things? Yeah. I think they need to go through and, like, you know, really shore up their wording, make it less vague. Like, second one, inner strength, heal deep wound, but it's not a health state, technically. Technically, it's a fourth health state, but technically, it's a status effect. It is a bit stupid. When healing, you and the survivor you're healing. It makes no noise. It's a status effect to you, that's fair. What other... or an obsession... trying to think of, like, anything else. You and your allies... They like to put some flavor on certain perks, or on certain words, to, like, keep it, you know, I don't know, interesting. But because of that, it's sometimes, like, your allies, couldn't you just put another survivor, or other survivors, or at least be consistent in your frickin' wording? Yeah, exactly. Like, your allies, okay. Well, what does that mean? Obviously, we can imply that means all other survivors. But still, like, consistency in wording is good. Don't make wording inconsistent. It's miserable. Because then you have to be like, okay, well, you have to test this. I don't think this will work, but if it does work, then you have to question everything you know. Right? Like, watch Boone's Circle of Healing work with Autodidact. Watch it work. I don't think it will work, but that's where on the PTB is to test things, right? I'll love if it does work. I will die laughing. I will probably, if it does work, I will think it's an oversight. But it's not an oversight that I have seen anyone else mention, which also makes me think that probably doesn't, because I'm not the only person doing this, right? I'm not the only person testing if behavior F's something up. So. Alright. Let's see what our last map of the night will be. And the verdict is RPD. Alright, sounds good. Unfortunately, the tome spawns are a little bit rough. I know where some are. Check here. It's not there. To be fair, the tome spawns are not just rough for us, but also for the killer. Hello. Why don't you want to work on this, Jen? Okay. It's not regressing, it's no ruin. Yeah, under desks is a good one as well. No indication of who the killer is yet. Alright, well, I spoke too soon. It is a Michael Myers. Wait, was he stalking me? Wow. He must have had a really good angle for that. Shoot. Alright, we're gonna have to play this loop. Apparently. I had no clue. We're gonna have to vault down, I think. He didn't swing. I needed him to swing for that so I could get to something, anything. Did you notice him? Because I was looking around, like I had a pretty good angle to see down the stairs and up the stairs, and apparently maybe he's just tall enough to see over. Yeah, because I don't think I could see him, but he could surely see me. Maybe he just like caught my ankle or something. Looks like he's in chase with Cheryl downstairs. Thank you. What are my outs? Okay, we're fine. We don't need to worry. The good news is he's not in tier 3 yet. The bad news is he's probably has it 99. I'd be willing to bet. Bones, bones, no bones. Sometimes there are bones here, no bones. And he's immediately back in the chase. Not under the desk. He's getting unhooked. No bones there. I'm in a corner. Bones here, though. This could prove useful. He's getting some pretty consistent downs. We have no gens left. Or no gens done yet. That's mildly problematic. Hello. He's coming. How do we want to get to where she is? We don't want to cross through middle, so we have to go upstairs to go downstairs. Or not. We could also do that. She's down. Can I get to you in a timely fashion? Yeah, we can, because we have the stairwell. I don't have to go all the way around. I can go down the stairwell and go for you here. Alright, you can heal yourself, technically. As long as he doesn't snuff out the totem. He, I think, has Dead Rabbit Monitor. Yup, you got it. Potentially Vanity Mirror, because his terror radius is really small. Very small, in fact. Yeah, and it goes away. Oh, it becomes so much smaller. It's so hard to predict his movements. Yeah. He's by the helicopter in that doorway. Fair play. Oh, rough. Yeah, that's really problematic. So that's definitely margin abuse, because once he lost chase with me, his terror just disappeared. Probably going down to either 8 meters, maybe 4 if Dead Rabbit. And of course, if he has Furtive Chase, then it could be even smaller, potentially. She applied the boom there, but doesn't really mean much. They're on the helicopter, they're there, they can heal, but Myers probably gonna be on them. Yep, as they are. That person's on death hook. Thought that earlier on your first chase? Yeah. This one kind of confirmed it gets grabbed. GG's. Yeah, margin abuse seems definite. I'm not sure about whatchamacallit. Dead Rabbit, though. I don't think there's any way they get... Yeah, there's no way. She's blessing a totem to heal, which makes sense, but there's no way they can get me. I'm just gonna suicide. There's no point in not. There's no point in not. Just prolongs the inevitable. But I'm curious to see if he has Monitor and Dead Rabbit. Monitor definitely is, I think, 100%. Oh, they're already in chase again? Jesus. Yep, you're down. You can't make that. There's no way. The best thing you could do there is try and fake it, though. Oh, they got an unhook. Oh, fair enough. I'm thinking Vanity Mirror, yeah. Which, if we actually had some decent boon totems, would be actually pretty significant. Because boon totem, the Shadow Step hides your aura. So, are we thinking Vanity Mirror, Dead Rabbit, then? You're down. Yeah, that would make sense. It makes sense. You're dead. So, Vanity... Where are you going? Oh, you went the wrong way. GG's. She's gonna get off your shoulder. Vanity Mirror, Dead Rabbit, Monster Diffuse. I don't know about the rest of the perks. I have no clue on that. Maybe Lethal Pursuer. That's an option. Outside of that, no real clue. You got Pallet here on your left. That's your best op. Why would you go here? You had a pallet. Were you just leading him to a hook? Or did you actually think you could make it anywhere? That was strange. That was a strange choice there, Michaela. Not gonna lie. Just a wee one. Alright, but I'm curious. I'm very curious on what Mr. Mikael Myers has. And we'll do one more match because I still want to test out Autodidact. Well, GG, well played to the survivors and the Mr. Michael Myers. So Monitor, Vanity Mirror, Jewelry Box. So no Dead Rabbit, but Monitor was a yes. And then Nemesis, Play for Food, and Barbecue and Chili. So Barbecue and Chili would make sense, yeah. That makes sense. That was not a bad map for Mr. Michael Boy. Not a bad map at all. I mean, it makes sense with Barbecue, and every time that you'd find people, they were not within, like, a Shadow Step boon totem. And my boon totem doesn't... Wait, no, my boon totem does have Shadow Step, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But it didn't matter, because they cleansed it wicked quick. 'Tis unfortunate. Not to mention, as on a gen that they previously saw someone on, so their best bet would have been probably to go to said gen. So, c'est la vie. Alright, we'll do one more to test out Autodidact. Like I said, I don't think it was going to work, but I want to test it before I say for certain, because I don't think we ever actually healed ourselves. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. And nothing else. As right 2, someone had Spine Shell. Yeah, that makes sense. Spine Chill is a good perk. Most of the time for the chase value, less for the info. But the info can be beneficial here and there. Just a wee bit. So in other news, not actually related to Dead by Daylight, but apparently Twitch is doing some testing with potentially, like, being able to boost your stream as a paid feature. I have to look into more details about it. But apparently it looks like what you can do, at least with a small selection group, is that viewers can boost the stream, which is kind of interesting. It's apparently a small test group right now, though. I apparently am not in that, because you get an email. It is kind of interesting. I'm not sure that it's a good thing or a bad thing. It kind of reminds me of, like, advertising on Facebook. You can very easily advertise on Facebook for, like, $1 and get, like, 1,000 people to view it. Whether or not they click on it, yet to be determined, right? I think the same thing could be said for Twitch. The thing is that it's not money coming out of the streamer's pocket. It's something that a viewer can do to boost your discoverability. Which then goes into another conversation of Twitch just needs to fix their discoverability in general, because right now discoverability is few and far between, especially for like single-player games, right? So, I'm kind of meh on this. Also, I can bring a item, can't I? Let's bring Commodious. Why the hell not? Bring you and you. Hey, what's up, my friend? Good luck, have fun. Good luck, have fun. We're just kind of doing some research on the new Twitch stuff. So I'm curious to see if this goes through. They actually had made mention of something like this a while back, but instead of like paying for that advertisement, they were actually going to use channel points, where basically you could go get to a goal, and if enough channel points were used, you could then do that. You're the killer of this game? Hey, well, good luck, have fun, my friend. You will have fun? I hope so. You're on Badham Preschool. Alright, alright, alright. Well, we have some common totem locations I want to check out. And see if we want to set up our boom totem. Wait, oh, we must have went past a, dull. Because we got hit by a, whatchamacallit? A hex status effect. So we've been cursed. So there's Undying. And I have no clear idea about Ruin. It's Trapper Boy? Okay. Want to maybe look out for Devour. It's pretty quick down. Check here. Yeah. I'm mildly concerned about this, to be honest. Undying is always something that concerns me, because 9 times out of 10 it tells me they have Devour. Did I not... What is going on? Times like this is where I wish I had small game. Nothing there. Alright. We haven't checked Shack. Yeah, but it comes from the fact that I know where all the spawns are, right? And more people are learning them, too, is the thing. That's one up. They picked up Dwight. Problem is he's still pretty close to the hook. Wait. Why did he have no tear radius? What? That makes no sense. Oh, Tinkerer. That makes sense now. I was like, so confused. Why did he lose his tear radius? And then Tinkerer. Okay. That makes more sense now. I just realized I'm running around like a madman through grass. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's Trapper. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. That's probably a less than ideal idea. Where are these totems, though? I genuinely don't know. I guess I haven't checked 2 story. It might be out in the bushes, which would suck. I'm just gonna bless this. Screw it. Let's start with this. Unfortunately, he's gonna see me in the aura read, is the problem. Yeah, it's probably coming right here. That's also a risky idea. Oh boy. Yeah, there are certain tome spawns on this map that are just miserable. Okay, there's this one. We're actually gonna cleanse this one. The thing is, this is gonna be undying. So then we still need to find Ruin. No. Why did we... We're no longer... Oh wait, no, we haven't touched a gen, have we? We haven't touched a gen, so let's just check for Ruin. Ruin? Yep. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I don't know where Ruin is at this point. I feel like I've checked all the areas that I'd normally check, which tells me it's probably out in a bush somewhere, which I hate those spawns. Alright. That's such an odd trap. Hug the wall. Alright, you can heal yourself. Only other place I can think of... No, it's not there. Yeah, I have no clue. I physically have no clue. Where are you going? Dude, you can heal yourself. No, come here. Follow. Follow me. You can heal yourself and I can heal you right here. Criminy. The bush nook behind me? Maybe not, no. Hi, Trapper Boy. He didn't swing. Alright, let's bring in the House of Pain then. I needed him to swing on that to get any real pressure. Oh, Jesus Christ. I couldn't figure out where he went. Fair play. Honestly, I'm fine going down here. I should have went upstairs, though, when I didn't see where he went. I should have immediately gone upstairs, because he would have still gone around, and then I could have probably vaulted. Dwight, stop it. This is why you die. Dwight. Dwight. What are you doing? Okay. I have no real explanation. What? What? Dwight, I have so many questions. I feel like I'm not gonna get any answers. I'll be honest here. Thank you. Let's not step on the trap over here. And funny enough, that body block got Dwight off the hook. Would you look at that? Yeah, what's up, bub? How you doing today? Hopefully doing well. Games are going well. We're testing out some stuff in the PTB. Right now, we're trying to test if Autodidact activates off of self-heal from Circle of Healing. Our idea is that it probably won't. But it's not outside the realm possibility. Let's find out. No. The answer is no. Okay. That's what we assumed, but, you know, worth the test nonetheless. It is worth the test. Is there a gen here? There is. I'm the only one who is not... He might have surveillance, because he ended up on me very quickly. I have no explanation as to why. I faked him out there for some distance. Alright, puts that down. Actually, I think he faked it. It was problematic. I don't think I get to the window, so we go for the pallet instead. Pallet's there, but nothing here. So we are very much going to take a hit. Attempted 360, no dice though. They get that gen. She took a hit for me, but honestly, I would have rather that they didn't. Oh, you gotta be joking me. I feel like we've been through this area so many times. Dwight, do it! You're not gonna get him, mate. Sorry to say. Run, Dwight, run! No, not towards the trapper, away from the trapper! What are you doing? Why do you do the things you do, Dwight? Why do you think they're good ideas? Yeah. Why do you feel they're good ideas? Nope, you put it too close, mate. I saw that earlier. You put it way too close. Okay, everyone's back up. I don't know why survivors are not going over to this totem of, you know, the boon totem of the heal. Alright, well, I'm gonna start working on this gen. All of us are on death, like there's no reason to jump off gens for body blocks at this point. And because we have Shadow Step, the nice... Wait, is that a Mori? No, he's slugged. Why? That's why. Okay. Alright. Bye. That makes a bit of sense. Well, he escaped. What's going on here? Is she down in the school, it looks like? Oh yeah, I forgot I have a toolbox. White heals. Well, what are we doing here? Missing skill checks. Oh, what's Trapper doing? Does he just not think that he can get to a hook in time, maybe? Okay, she's back up. Confused. Remember that he has Tinkerer? Peculiar. I don't have much of an explanation now. Alright, that's on me now. No? Okay. What are we doing? We go into the exit gate. Looks like we're going to the exit gate. Well, it says open the exit gate, we open the exit gate. Here, you can have this. It's the PTB. I can give you gifts. Come on, Dwight, give him a gift. There you go, buddy. Ah! You wanna help your Nia? No? You don't want to help? You just want to watch? That's fine too. Hey, what's up, Jacob? There's Megan. Megan, give him a gift. Give him the gift, Megan. Hey, no, don't pick up. No. Put down that gift. Put down that gift. Put down that gift. Put down the gift. Put down the gift. I'm not helping you, Meg, because you picked up the gift. Come on, put down the gift, Meg. You, do that. Put down the gift, Megan. Have you seen the new Blood Favor? Yeah, we actually tested it out a lot today. A little bit lackluster, to be honest. Not because it's not good, but simply due to the fact that it is, you know, much like any Hex Totem, you know, easily cleansed. Given the ultimate gift of dying. Maybe Meg will do that. Nope, she's out. At one point I plan to use my DS, then BT unhook you, then I failed my DS. Well, that's unfortunate. But hey, at the end of the day, we still got out. But GG, well played to the survivors and the Trapper. Tar bottle and Trapper sack. Once you put it down, you can't get it back. Told you it'd be fun? True, true. It was indeed. Alright. I think it would be good on Plague. Blood Favor? No, it's not. We tested out on Plague. That was my first thought, but the Vile Purge does not work, does not activate Blood Favor. Only the Corrupt Purge would. We tested it. The only ones that's like really good on, in my opinion, were Legion, Nemesis, and Trickster for a reason. Alright. Well, with that being said, let's take a look and see who is live. Days and Donuts is, as well as Ravi. Ravi's currently live, and they're both playing Forewarned. So let's go raid Ravi. With that being said, as always, real quick, thank you, Prince, for the follow. Welcome to the Guilty Ones, my friend. I am Mark, aka Guildspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach kills how to play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. Very happy to have you here. With that being said, we are going to go raid Ravi, another member of Gamer Friendly. My Twitch team that I'm a part of, we're all here to, you know, provide a welcoming and safe space for every viewer. But they are playing some Forewarned, kind of like Phasmophobia. You guys should have a good old time. But as always, if you did enjoy the show, please make sure to hit that follow button. If you haven't already, though, check out our Extra Life campaign. We're trying to help your kids at Sanford Children's Hospital here in Fargo, North Dakota. On that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow at 7 p.m. CST. Bye-bye!